fuckers got me. He tricked
Yeah,
me.
I can see that. I can't do tequila though. Tequila is like one of the few liquors I can't do.
Sure.
I get angry on it.
I love tequila. But I
get
came in.
angry.
I came into the we went live. And I unmuted the mic right when I think Kel just said these fuckers got it right. It's the first thing they hear off rip. I don't get angry off of alcohol.
Me either.
Only tequila. That's the only one that does it for me.
See, if I'm gonna drink something like that, I'm just gonna drink sake because I feel like that's just tequila, but goes down smoother for me, anyways.
Sure.
Hot tequila.
Here's the thing though with sake is I feel like it's really hard to find a good one because there's no in between option for sake. You either have like the $3 bottom tier that is on discount all the time, or you have the $70 bottle where it's like, I don't know if I want to risk that right now.
Right.
There's no like good mid-tier option for sake.
Yeah, that's why you guys have to hit up a nice sushi joint and get like the pint bases that they bring out, the little clay vase just full of sake.
I got these for on the In-N-Out website.
Oh hell yeah!
They're like $30
really
if
cool.
you're interested. They're cheap.
That's
Heck yeah, got the fit. I've learned in style. I always get compliments in style because I'll do a couple things. I'll either match shirt shoes, shirt / jacket to shoes, hat to shirt or shorts. And that's the way if you combo one of those two, your entire outfit's fine. So like that's my fashion tip is always match one of those. And I
or just do what I do and grab whatever's on top of the clean laundry pile and not give a fuck.
I don't know. I get a little matchy about my stuff these days. I don't know why. I just feel like I need to at least like have something of that. To your statement, April Running Chaz, I get angry off of water.
Hell
I
yeah!
get angry off of
Hydro
life,
rage.
dog. I don't need drugs.
Actually, wait. I think that's literally one of the symptoms of rabies. We might want to get him checked out.
Yeah, sure. All right, it's either that or they're drinking water after midnight.
Yeah,
true.
turn into fucking gremlin.
Yeah. Welcome to the Blurbies Podcast, episode number 253. I'm Adrian. That's David. That's Kels. We have a lot to go over this episode.
Been a busy week for people.
It's been a busy week on multiple fronts.
Yeah.
But how's everyone's week first? David, what'd you do this week?
In terms of what I did outside of the gaming sphere, we're in the middle of a server migration right now. So if I just like go completely silent mid-call, that's why. Yeah, I've been in the middle of a server migration. That's what I've been up to.
Fair. Kels, we survived.
Yeah, no, survived. Everything's good. I lost a tree in the front yard, so RIP tree, but it was on its way out anyways, so
That's fair.
the real one. But no, other than that, I've been kind of figuring out how old I've been getting, going to because I've had like concerts like the past 3 weekends now on Saturday, and now I'm at the point like I just want a fucking like full weekend. I need like recuperation.
I am exhausted.
My lower back hurts.
I'm exhausted. My voice is still kind of rough, so shout out to that. If I have to stop talking for a second, as this is the last traveling week I have confirmed until at least like mid-June. So I'm like, cool, I can relax for a little bit. Then a friend hit me up. He's like, hey, and you're gonna think this is really funny. He's like, hey, you want to fly out to Reno in like 2 weeks to help me for a Smash tournament? I'm like, maybe we'll see. I was like, because here's the tournament. This is the funniest idea. Shout out to them. It's kind of going viral off the internet right now, which I love. So shout outs to Reno. Their Smash tournament scene really gets to do a lot of fun stuff because they're not stingy about their money. We're in poverty nation here in Albuquerque with our Smash scene, so it's like money stingy, and our tournaments are not very populated. Over there, they're willing to like put in funds for stuff. They have the
that's called degeneracy, and that's what happens in Vegas, sir.
Yeah, but oh, dude, this
clear.
This tournament idea is so funny. This is the second time they're doing it, and I'm glad. So, are you guys both aware of what Summit is?
Yes.
Faintly, yeah.
Summit's usually like invitational, where they'll invite like the top players or whatever. Oh, Juice, don't knock it over. All right, hold on. Juice is knocking over a light. His tail is getting in the way. Poor cat ran out scared because he didn't know what I was doing. They have an O2 summit, meaning that it's a summit for only people that always lose every single time.
Oh, sick. Okay. Hell yeah.
It's an
We're gonna
invitation.
get some people some W's one way or another.
It's an invitational
It's a
summit.
Sacco award.
It's an invitational summit for only the really bad players. The pot's already like $1,000 or $2,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So and they do a lot of fun stuff. And they were gonna. And I was like, throw this idea out there. I threw this idea out there, and they said they tried to, but got a little clicky. But I was like, oh, dude, can because they'll fly people out. Like the Reno's really solid about that. We're like, hey, we'll fly people out for summits, stuff like that. And they'll even like do cool stuff where they'll fly their own players out to like other tournaments, stuff like that, their own PR players. But I was like, oh, dude, Nick, if you guys give me a flight in. I'll be your coach. I'm like, I got stuff. I got locked in results on me. We're good. And he's like, we tried to like get it so like the PR players could like coach some of the lower players, but it got a little clicky. I'm like, all right, that's fair. We don't want clicks in the scene like that.
The losers bracket.
Right.
The
But
alpha losers. Let's go.
But they do. I guess for that they do something called Big Brother doubles, where they get the O2ers to pick a good player to do doubles with, just so they can get some wins off it. It's just so funny. I love that idea. Imagine going O2 at the O2 summit. Like that's
well, that's the question. Is that then the ultimate O2er?
Do they
or is the ultimate tour the one that basically doesn't lose all tournament?
Right. Let me show you guys the picture that they have for they also have like every week they have a guy that does graphics. Like they pay someone to do graphics for their tournaments every week too. So that way, like if you get top 8, like it looked solid. Here's the tweet. I'll put up on the stream for everyone right now. It's super sick though. Ship screen.
That is sick.
There you go. That's the scene, and my friend's the Ridley in there, which is like the coolest part of the whole picture too.
Hell yeah. Let's get this retweeted out. Share some good news in the fucking world right now.
But it's got
Right.
68 quotes, 241 likes. It's like doing solid numbers for that kind of summit there. And imagine how high, because it is hype, right? Because you see like all the players that just don't win, and now they're fighting to win, right? Like, oh man, some of these players are gonna be in winners bracket, like semis, like sweating because like, holy shit, I've never been here before. Shout out to them. That's a fun scene. When I was visiting out there over last summer, it was super fun to visit. All right. Let's get to it. I want to hop into this because I think I want to save the actual video game stuff for the end. But actually, no, let's jump into this. David, what'd you get this week?
I didn't get fuck all because I mentioned this briefly, but we have 3 cars between the partner and I, and we forgot what time of year it was, and all 3 need registration and stickers due. So luckily, knock on wood, I did the first sticker for one of the cars today, and didn't need any work done to it. So that was just a small $12, and then I think we paid like 100 and something for the registration. But still 2 more vehicles to go, so we'll see what happens there. But I did get this gem, this classic, for like $2 hairs. You don't know Jack on PS1.
Did you hear what they're doing this year?
Nice. Yeah, I was about to say that too.
Yes, the M-rated one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited what that means because those the adult games are kind of like in the party like card game style thing. Those ones, there's like so many of them now. A lot of like drinking games, a lot of like very sexual games that like there's a lot of those. I wonder like where they're gonna lean in terms of like adult stuff. Is it gonna be like Cards Against Humanity just stuff? Because Jack games can kind of lean towards that already.
Yeah.
So I wonder what they mean by adult themes, because you can't do anything overtly sexual in those. So I mean, are they drinking games or like? But does that promote drinking in games? I don't know. I'm curious what that means. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do.
That would actually be kind of neat if they could get away. Because I don't know how like the ESRB would handle like making a literal drinking game video game.
Yeah, I don't know if we've had that before, right? Where it's like a game like literally like, all right, you hit this, like take a shot or something like that, right?
I think they
Yeah.
could probably like allude to it or something, like call it
Ta-
like cheers. Or
Take a drink.
something,
Take a
or-
drink of water.
Or yeah, exactly. They say water, but we all
Yeah.
know what they mean.
Right.
Lastly, aside from of course the humble choice that happened last month. Speaking of which, this month is a fucking banger. Like a Dragon is in there.
Ooh.
Fucking Hi-Fi Rush, rest in peace.
Too soon.
And a few other like genuine, like super big banger titles in this month's humble choice.
The Evil Within, The Evil Within 2,
Fuck,
Ghostwire
could you
Tokyo.
imagine? But I got this for $5. I don't normally do the sports games, but this is kind of like a twisty twist on the sports. Plus, it was sealed, so why not? But a minty sealed copy of Speedball 2100 on PS1. Got that for $5 hair, so I was like, fuck it, why not?
Nice.
And that is all I got.
All right. Kells.
Nice. Yeah, so this weekend was May the 4th, and of course that means Comic Book Day. So, you know what I did. Yeah, so my local comic, I went to two of them where I pick up my weeklies and went to another one to look at graphic novels because they were having a sale. I think it was like 20% off on all their books. So I went ahead and got Ultimate Invasion. We were
Nice.
talking about this last week. This is what leads in to the new Ultimate line of comics that they're doing right now. And it's really interesting because I read like one or two of them, but I never completed it. And going back now and reading it all is really cool, especially since I'm reading the new Ultimate stuff. Which leads me into, we have Ultimate Spider-Man number 4. We got that first run, so that's going to be cool. See how that one sells. And then this is a big one. We were talking about it one week. It's Blood Hunt, but this is fucking wrapped up like your daddy's old nudie mags.
Jesus.
Yeah, so it's like Red Band wrapped up because it's supposed to be like way gorier, and from what I've seen, it is. It's like they didn't just like add blood splatters, like they change entire art pages, which is really cool. But the only issue now is like I'm like, I have them all 5 coming in because I have them all on my pull list, but do I want to open them? Because like since they're in the bag like this, that kind of feels like they might be collector things if they're sealed like that. But
And that just came out.
yeah. This
it
I
did?
think they just came out last week.
I might go run for those. Those sound interesting.
Yeah.
How easy are they to
Yeah,
jump
the art-
into?
Blood Hunt, like it's weird. Blood Hunt's had like some lead-ins like from a few other like individual runs, like this one I picked up, Vengeance of the Moon Knight. This is number 5 in it, but number 5 ties in with this Blood Hunt like big event going on because
Right.
it's about like vampires and shit. So Moon Knight's kind of featuring into that. Haven't read this one yet. Really looking forward to it though, because like I said, Moon Knight, vampires, Blade. That's gonna be really cool.
Okay. I think I'll probably grab those.
And that's it. I just got a bunch of comics this week.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Also, real quick, I'm sending this in the chat for the podcast, or what's basically now the podcast chat. I don't know if you all have seen this tweet, but I just saw that come across my timeline and thought y'all would find that interesting as it'll be relevant to what we'll be talking about a bit later.
Most indie comic. Right now, there's an imprint off of Image Comics called Ghost Machine, which is Jeff Johns. He's done like a bunch of DC stuff, and now he's getting like his own like imprint to do his own run. And so far, it's really fucking good. They kicked off with Geiger, Redcoat, and Rook Exodus, and they've had Junkyard Joe, which I fucking love. Junkyard Joe. Junkyard Joe is a really fucking good comic series. But they're kind of booting it up now. They've got the funding, they've got it all approved, and now they're just like releasing it all. They have like a full schedule coming out this year because they have 3 running right now, and then I think they have 3 that are going to run at the like last quarter too. So they're like launching it like a full. It's all interconnected too. It's like a whole timeline that they're doing.
Really
Indie,
quick.
Image, Black Horse, all those are fun.
Everyone asks what's the most indie. Is that what you're asking right now?
Yeah.
And then what about Star Wars comics? I think they mentioned. Were
I-
there anything specific for yesterday or the Sunday or Saturday?
No, I got there after like all the free stuff was given out. because there was one for High Republic I was really wanting to nab because I read some of the or I've listened to some of the High Republic books on audiobook and they're really good, or I enjoyed them at least. I know it's kind of controversial with Star Wars fans, but Star Wars fans hate Star Wars, so what else is new? But
Fuck,
the
does
books
that
are
make me
fun.
a Star Wars fan?
Yeah, exactly.
Damn.
Everyone's a Star Wars fan. But the books were good, so I want to give the comics a try. That sounds like fun, but I got there late, so I ain't getting the free shit. I had to buy all my stuff.
That's fair.
I just robbed the comic book store.
There you go.
Yeah, well, they had the
It's
Ghostbusters
free
there,
comic
so,
book day. Fuck it.
Yeah, I was very scared.
Just grab any single comic you want. It is free.
It's mine. Dibs.
Let's see.
Joe's really cool. He's like a atomic powered like android that's like a killing machine that they. So it's he's kind of like those old comics that they have of like Wolverine in World War II. That's kind of like the position he is. He's a like an atomic powered android during like pretty much the big world wars. He's used as like the secret weapon to just be the Terminator, walk in somewhere, kill everyone, walk out with the hostage or with whatever's needed. And his whole story kind of like wraps up in like he's in Vietnam doing all this, and like it's kind of the story like the robot or like the non-sentient being starts to gain a little bit of sentient, kind of like an Iron Giant situation, except Junkyard Joe fucking rips people apart.
All right. Hold on, really quick. I'm looking up local shops to see what their times are. They close so early.
Yeah, he does look like Creature Commandos. Yep, I 100% agree. Honestly, they probably, I don't know which one came first on though. I think Junkyard Joe's 2020.
David, I'll mention that towards the end. Interesting stuff. All right. So this weekend.
Yeah. I've seen that shit too. That's we have to talk about that.
Yeah. This weekend, I was up in Colorado again, and I was sounding like trash by the end of it. So I the girlfriend did her thing, and I just pretty much just camped the hotel room, which was fine because everything that we're gonna talk about in a bit happened. So I was like glued to my phone as it was. Probably the best time to just like hunker down on bed all day because I was watching videos and reactions, and I'll mention it in a bit. But anyway, Saturday I was locked down. Sunday was the time we were leaving, and I kind of like killed time. So I was like, you know what? I wasn't planning, but I was like, you know what? I'll visit the video game shops here because I had went to a Walmart last weekend when I was there, and I just skimmed by. You know when I told you guys I bought what was it? Star Ocean for like $20 or whatever. I was like, let me see if the Walmart's here. I have it cleaned out of all the clearance games. So someone like zoomed in and just grabbed them all, which is, I mean, it's bigger population out there, which I guess I'm like, whatever. Oh, not bigger than Phoenix, but I mean, like, I know people out there are more adamant about that. But I was like, you know what? I mean, in video game shops, and they're always hit or miss, right? They're always like solid, or like they're overpriced as hell, and I'm like, whatever. The thing I always noticed is that if there's a good collection of games, probably really expensive. If it's an iffy kind of collection, probably really well priced because that means they just get sold really quickly. So I went to the first shop, and I was looking around. I saw a few GameCube stuff. I was like, all right, maybe I get they had the Batman game, but the comic wasn't with it, which gives it the value. They had a Harvest Moon game for like $30 that was about value. So I was just say the shops were both of value. I'd say like they were like I called David real quick too. I was like, oh, the shops are one sec, hold on.
Yeah, he was talking about. He gave me a call and was like, "Dude, you know, the prices are really good here. They're all like basically within range
at eBay or lower. I didn't see really anything that was higher than maybe like $2 just to have an even price tag on it. So I was like, all right, so I give you a call. Give me whatever games you're looking for. And after that, I had left the first location, so he gave it to me before or after. I fucked up, and I was gonna go watch a movie to kill time. But I fucked up on my Google Maps and it sent me straight to the game shop. It's like, all right, cool. So I just went to the game shop early and just stopped the movie. I was gonna watch the Fall Guy, but whatever. I'm not beat up about it. Anyway, by the first shop, I picked up these two. I picked up Hawks and Hawks 2.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I looked up online. They were like, oh, they're more arcadey Ace Combat games. I'm like, all right, cool.
Hawks 2 is really fun.
Yeah, and there were Hawks 2 was $5, which is way lower than online. I think it's going for like 10, maybe 15 sometimes. And then Hawks 1 was about on price where the games were. All right, and then I was looking right when I leave, because I was looking at first. I'm like, where's all the high price stuff again? I always look for the high price stuff. Where's all your goodies? Right when I walked in, I turned left and I saw like a Japanese. I forget what it might have been, like a Game Boy player. I think I forget. It was something GameCube. I was like, I looked really quick, and in there was the thing I wanted already. So I'm like, all right, whatever. As I'm checking out with those 2 games, I was gonna buy a sick Godzilla poster that the Japanese tidal wave art. You know what I'm talking about? When I talk. But it had Godzilla in the corner causing the wave, which I thought was cute.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I kind of want to go get that next time I'm up there. But I didn't. I grabbed it. I put it back because I saw this back there. I saw 4 GameCube games back there. I'm like, all right, what GameCube games do you have? Because I'm getting old and I can see just GameCube. I can't read those titles. What do you got? Animaniacs. I got. What else? There were 2 more games I had. And he said, we have this game. And I'm like, that was not in my realm of like, all right, that's one. Because remember, I got like, what, 11?
The Disney basketball game.
No.
Oh.
I got like 11 $100 plus GameCube games left to get before I have a full collection of all upper end GameCube games. And this is one of them that was there. And I was like, that's not the one I wanted. Like, that's not one I would like actively go for eventually, but not something I want to sink over $100 on currently. But I had called and I was like, all right, you know what? I was refreshing the I Love Beast thing, and it was still at $450. I called David. I already made the purchase, but I called David afterwards. I'm like, you thinking about it? He's like, no, I got the car stuff. And I'm like, all right, yeah, because I didn't want to save the money that I had because I'm like, I don't know where it's gonna end. Part of me felt like it could have ended at 500. It ended up at like 1,200. Yeah. So, I think next time I see that, I'm gonna try to have I'm gonna try to have it locked and loaded because I'm like gunning for that harder now. Next time. But yeah, because you know why, David? Because I read the description. You ever read the description?
No.
Guy said I have 2, and this is my brother's. So lock and load, like be ready for round 2, because I have to imagine he saw how much that went for. It might be like, all right, do I want this that much or?
He probably has 3 cars with registration coming up soon
Yeah.
too. So.
Like, I'm just always gonna have 3 cars with registrations coming up soon.
Yeah, so be ready because that guy, he said 2. Anyway. I saw this game back there.
That's crazy.
I asked to look at it, and it's in really solid condition. I looked online. It goes for actually a little bit more. It goes a little bit more online than this. And I looked at the condition. It's super solid. So I got Rally Championship, $150. So knocked out 1. All right. That's a small store. When I was listening to them, there was one guy who was like walking around, like looking at a lot of the cool stuff. Like they had a Japanese Death Smiles unopened collector's edition on there. So the guy was asking questions about all this stuff, and he knew his stuff. But he's like, hey, where or do you guys hold stuff? He's like, no, but we have other locations. He said, we have 2 other locations here in this area. Go to this one. This one's the big one. And I was like, all right. So I overheard that. I typed it on my phone. I'm like, all right, I'll go swing by there because I'm trying to kill time. Location was huge.
Where are these at, dude?
What was that?
Like, what city? What city were you in?
Denver. I should say, shout outs level 7 games.
Okay. I go there a lot, so I'll probably hit them up.
Yeah. So there's the one in Federal Heights is the big store.
Okay.
I forget which one I went to. I could look it up, but there's one I went to that was smaller, and there's one I went to that's the most eastern half of it, on the eastern side of the city, and I didn't go to that one because that one was a little bit out of the way. So I went to that. I went to the big one. Super nice in there. They have their own little themed coffee shop in there too. Like I got a Silent Hill. There was like a Shadow Moses. There was like they had all the video game themed ones. They had a card shop on the second floor. The parking was tough to find because it was just like it was a building and it had its own parking lot, but like it was packed. But the coolest thing, I showed David a picture of this. The coolest thing, because I was already, I'm looking around like, all right, where are the expensive games? Went around like, where's the locked up games? They had like small pillars. I was like, I guess that's all they have locked up. No, they have a vault. Like they have
a whole room.
Like a whole room. So you go in like
a nudie room.
So
at the Blockbuster.
And it looks like those rooms that you would go into like at a museum. They have like the high end of like, here's all the movie memorabilia. Because it was funny because they even had like a life size Deadpool mannequin there. But yeah, they walk in there and there's like 3 or 4 glass cases in there. Sealed Halo 2, which I would have bought, but didn't have the sticker on the top. That's my caveat. I want to have the first print run of Sealed Halo 2. It taunted me. I almost did this. But it taunted me and I didn't because it was disc only. They had Cubivore. I looked at it and I'm like, all right. Showed that picture to the girlfriend. I'm like, Part of me wants to, but I'm not, because having to piece that together would be the worst. It'd be just as bad. And I'd probably pay more too with it separated because I'm sure someone's gonna be like, all right, here's the case for $300. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that.
I mean, fuck, I'm struggling just to find a goddamn manual for Def Jam Fight for New York. I lucked out finding the case for $10, but now I'm just waiting to find the goddamn manual.
The manual for Gotcha Force is still $200 right now.
Jesus hell.
Yeah, so like if you buy it piecemeal, it's definitely more expensive. So there was no point. But I was like, you're taunting me though. But like, nah, we're good. Saw a lot of stuff there, like a sealed Halo anniversary, a lot of cart games. On the side of the wall, they had a lot of modded handheld, so like a lot of modded with IPS screens, Game Boys.
Yeah, okay.
They had some I think they had a Galaxy 3DS there with all the stuff already loaded up on it. But on the other wall here, they had stuff that wasn't for sale. I imagine maybe you could if I asked, but I don't think I can like 99% sure they weren't because there was no price tag. But they had Clay Fighter 64 on there. The one.
The Sculptor's Cut.
Yep. Yeah. They had what do you call it? What's the NES sports game that's
World
Track and Field.
Yeah. World Champ. No, the one David said. What was it?
Oh, okay.
World Championship.
Yeah, they had that there. They had some stuff, but it was locked, like locked.
Yeah, that's something where you show up with a blank checkbook, say how much. That's not something like what are you offering?
Right.
You gotta put your dick down on the table for it.
Right, and even then, I imagine it might like not be on sale unless you offered obscenely more than the value, just because it added to the room. Right, it's supposed to like this is the vaulted room. Weirdly enough, they had a couple other stuff I wanted. They had Snowboard Kids 1 and 2 on 64, and I really wanted those. If I didn't buy this, I would have bought that. But there's a reason why I didn't, because this also I saw. I'm like, oh, fuck me.
Oh, no.
Another one on the list that's something I don't want to buy right now. But again, I called David. I said, all right, we conceded on the I Love Bees. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm not buying that. So girl math, right? I'm like, all right, well, I guess I saved this much money not buying that. So that's spending money now, right? And I saw that. So I'm like, you know what?
This money.
Yeah. So you know what though? It's really good to feel like, all right, I knocked out 2 of the top there. So I am now in single digits of $100 plus GameCube games. This one hurt because this one was pricey. And this one was in the vault, even though it was pricier than some of the games in the vault. I kind of wanted to be like, hey, can you go put that in the vault for like a minute so I can grab it out of the vault so I could feel like I spent a lot of money on it, because I did.
I just want the experience is really what I want.
Like, genuinely. Like, I was like, this thing is priced more than some of the stuff in the vault. Halo 2 was like $129. This is more than that. I was like, why is this not in the vault? But I looked at it. It's a really good condition.
Copy of Seaman.
It's a GameCube game. You want to take any guesses? Because yeah, I knocked out 2 GameCube games, two more than $150 GameCube games.
Not Cubivore, and you already said not the Disney Sports game. Trying to think of what else you were missing.
Yeah, it's getting hard, right? I need to make a video. I feel like I have to have one of the more prominent GameCube collections out there right now.
Oh, is it finally getting your Fire Emblem completed box?
No, I had that complete box.
Oh, okay, you did get that.
Oh no, the only Fire Emblem I don't have is the 3DS complete.
The special edition.
That's the only one I'm missing. I have every other Fire Emblem game complete in box.
Good man.
Let's say there's a chance this gets remade within the decade.
Metroid Prime 2 sealed.
Yeah, there you go. This is $500. Last guess, or you want me to show it?
Gals, you got any guesses?
None. I'm baffled.
I got Resident Evil Code Veronica.
Nice. Okay.
$180.
You didn't want to just pay $15 for the player's choice version like I did?
No. So, 2 bad boys off the list. Knock that down. My GameCube collection is looking fucking spicy right now. Dude, it sucks collecting for GameCube.
This man's about to go ahead, roll up into a fucking retirement broker firm. Is like, this is my retirement.
Yeah, I want to pass this off to my children one day, and they're not gonna know games because we're gonna be jocks, because that's always how it works out. It's always the opposite of you, and they're gonna be like, all right, well, let's sell this at a garage sale, and they'll be like, here, $2 per game. I'll be like rolling in my grave.
They can be like me. I was the jock that was the fucking nerd too. So
Hell yeah, I'll take that. Dude, like my GameCube collection is nuts. It's actually obscene. I love it dearly though. It's my pride and joy. All right, let's talk about music, because we went to that. David,
Let's talk about Bugsnax.
David, you've heard up to the Heart Part 6, correct?
I have followed everything that has dropped up to this point.
So the last thing you
with
heard was the
notes.
Drake drop, right?
Was that the last thing? Or I thought Kendrick was the last. Yeah, the heart. Yeah, no, Drake is the last one. All right.
Okay.
So,
David,
yeah,
I want to
I've
hear
everything.
before we cover it all and make you biased one way or another. Last week, if you weren't here, Kels and I took a trip down this rap beef that was a lot more friendly. And well, not, I should say a lot friendly. There was some accusations already kind of rumbling, and it looked like it was gonna get heated. But has since elevated to a level of obscenities. And the only thing I'm gonna preface this with ahead of time is I do retract one major thing from last week, and I think a lot of the internet does as well. In which case, to J. Cole,
Man, it was.
it's all good, bro. I retract everything. There is no longer bitch made comments. I don't care. You made the right choice. You wanna still claim some top 3 stuff. I respect the game. Do your thing. My bad.
yeah, it's respectable now looking back on it, right? It's like, okay, that was the man thing to do. The man thing to do about it is like you acknowledge your mistake, owned up to it, apologize.
I want to know
tried
what
move
happened,
forward.
because there's people rumbling always. Like we're gonna mention whatever. As opposed, there's always people rumbling behind the scenes. Some people are always saying like Schoolboy Q hit him up.
Yeah, I saw that.
I think what happened is something along the lines where it's like, because J. Cole I think came into like kind of what initially was supposed to happen, right? Like, all right, cool, let's get a friendly fade in, let's do this, and then someone hit him up saying, dude, this is gonna get dirty quick. Tap out now.
And that very much is what the impression I kind of got. So I went down a educational journey here, because
Hell
I know
yeah.
fuck all about all this.
Yeah. Let's hear it.
And I watched a few videos to help fill in the gaps. And as far as my knowledge at this point stems, this all apparently started back in 2013 is when all this beef really started.
Yep.
But it started to get real with King Kunta in 2015.
Yeah.
Because there was a line of "I know," and then that evolved into all this.
Yeah, it's
so
so
here are my
crazy
notes.
now. Like looking back, like there's a lot of people going back and like hyper analyzing like a lot of Kendrick's lines and like finding like it's like the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah.
So David, surface level, because we're gonna dive in. We gave you the education, started you up. I'm glad you got fascinated enough to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. What were your impressions of this thing, and who do you think won?
Okay, so if I'm just staying high, if I'm just currently keeping it high level for this moment, this certainly didn't convert me into being interested into mainstream hip hop.
Yeah, you don't need to be.
Honestly, I don't get how Drake has fans. He has his producers basically make the same 4 beats over and over again in all his fucking music. And yeah, it's a catchy beat, but like, congratulations, it's the same fucking beats over and over again. I don't understand how people
It's
like
pop.
music.
So
also,
Mos Def said it best. He said it's radio music made for Target.
Sure.
Yeah,
I like the phrase hip hop.
Yeah.
Also in my notes here, I find it hysterical that the best bars in any Drake song I've listened to were by J. Cole.
Okay.
I will say that there were some songs that I would say they fall into that category of I would not go seek out and listen to them on my own, but if they were on, I'd kind of bop along with it.
Oh, yeah,
Champagne Moments by Rick Ross was a fun one. I quite enjoyed that one. A couple of these by Kendrick definitely were fucking savage. Holy fuck, he was out for blood on some of these. However, I still feel that there is a lot that I think we need some fucking receipts for with the age of internet that we are in now. We have Drake claiming that Kendrick is a wife beater, which if it's true, that's fucked up. Can't support any of that. But we also have a well-documented concerning history about Drake and underage girls. And motherfucker does nothing to refute that other than said, I'd be in jail if it was true.
Which is the worst argument you could ever make. It's the worst argument you could ever make.
They said, why am I in jail then?
Yeah, why aren't you? I don't know. That's a good question.
Don't fucking ask Dan Schneider why you're not in jail right now.
I've seen a tweet. It was like, Drake's name ain't on any list. It's like,
it's
'cause
Aubrey Graham.
Aubrey.
Yeah, I love that. David, what was your favorite song out of all this? Because I want to go and dive into the history once more.
Ooh,
give me one song.
I'd say it's a toss-up between Champagne Moments and Meet the Grams.
Okay, interesting.
Like it would depend on my mood, because Meet the Grams was very tense, very emotional. Very much was it felt more like a speaking from the heart kind of song. Whereas Champagne Moments was like, nah, fuck this asshole. So different day, different answer on that one.
Meet the Grams, like I was thinking about it more. I kind of put it in like that same category I would like a song like Stan.
Sure.
It's one of those, it's like
not a repeat song, but like when you come on, you're like, all right.
Yeah, it's like borderline almost not a song. It's more like spoken word a little bit. But it works really fucking good.
Bro.
It's like those times where you see poems or spoken word and then someone adds a beat to it. You're like, damn, that works. And that's kind of like what I feel like they did with Meet the Grams too.
Scroobius Pip made a career off that, so
right.
we'll get to this too, and then it's a crazy response from Drake. I've still yet to get that part, but it's still crazy. Yeah, you won't, because that's probably the last one. Kels, what was your top song out of this?
I think it's Euphoria. Honestly, I think
Mm.
that one, it had everything that I wanted to. Okay, so me being someone that's listened to Kendrick, knows what Kendrick's gonna deliver and know what he can do. I think Euphoria nailed like every
It was the best
bar that I had.
all-encompassing Kendrick song.
Yeah, it was a really good Kendrick song just to start with, and then on top of it, it was a really good diss. I feel like too.
I love
It
how
was
it's
one of
spoken
the
word, and then you get to like the victory beat, and then the shoo. I'm
yeah,
like, all
and
right,
then like yeah, he does everything that I'm looking for Kendrick. He's doing the beat switches. He's doing
gets
the
angry.
yeah, he's kind of like getting moody in there. What is it? The braids?
Yeah.
It's so good. And so I think Euphoria, and then
Pusha
after that, I
T.
really like Pusha T. I really liked not Meet the Grams, Not Like Us, because that one
616, I think, is the only one that kind of got lost in the shuffle, which it's fair. It was like the sounding. It was like the sounding shots to like the battle that was literally about to happen that day. Um, Not Like Us, so yeah, you were
I
saying that's
thought
a
Not
your
Like Us was honestly kind of cringe. Like there were some
oh
good
brother.
bars in there,
No, no, no,
but
no,
I
no.
thought like overall it was kind of cringe.
I'll change your mind on that in a little bit. But Not Like Us for you, Kels.
Yeah, Not Like Us and Euphoria. I think Euphoria is probably the number one for
Euphoria
me.
is fucking solid.
Yeah.
I'll give
Yeah.
that one that.
Um,
I
I
feel
I
like it's
was
the most re-listenable. I've re-listened to them all, and I think I've really re-listened to Euphoria the most out of them.
Euphoria is like a workout
Mm.
song for me, but so is Not Like
Oh, for
Us
sure.
now. Here's the thing, David. Now I want to get to it a little more, but there's a lot of beauty to Not Like Us. I think.
There's multiple levels to all of them because you have to look at like who produced the song. The
Did you look at
name of the
producers at all?
song.
No.
Do you want to get into that real quick before I start losing my voice?
Sure, yeah, we
Go
can
for
do
it.
that. So, okay, so one of Drake's. Okay, so before Kendrick dropped Euphoria and then 616 afterwards, Drake had a few songs. Was it Push Ups and then Tailor Made?
Right.
So Tailor Made. So he had the song Tailor Made. So on, I think it was Euphoria.
No,
One of the songs
616.
he on 616 on one of the songs, one of the producers on it is Jack Antonoff. Jack
Okay.
Antonoff, he's a producer. He's in a few bands and shit too. But his big thing is he's been Taylor's producer through like most of her like
Mm.
Taylor's remakes or whatever her albums
He hasn't produced for guys almost ever.
ever. And like I don't think he does much rap. He's more like pop. He's like the top guy in like current pop. He's like the guy you
Gotcha.
can blame for all that shit. So that song is literally Taylor made because he's makes all Taylor's music for her, or he's the producer on all of her music.
Mhm.
All right, that's kind of an interesting deep cut there.
Yeah, and I feel like there's something else.
Alchemist
There's another
does
yeah,
does Meet the
Alchemist.
Grams. And Alchemist
Yeah, and
is a non-conventional. He's not. You're not going to him. Well, it's kind of like what you said last week, which is Kendrick is your rapper's favorite rapper. This is like
Yeah.
the producer's favorite producer is Alchemist.
Gotcha.
and I think he's also or Drake's tried to work with him in the past or something like that. And there's been like not tension, but it just never happened. And now it's like okay, so it's definitely not happening.
Right. And
And so, oh yeah,
no, go for it. You're good.
No, I was just gonna say, that's one thing I will say is like, even though I spent a good chunk of my weekend just watching different videos to the point where it's now permanently fucked. with my YouTube
Everyone's dude.
algorithm. It's
And,
one
bro,
of those
the
things
cool thing
that
too to mention also is Kendrick dropped all copyright.
Did you
from
see
the
that?
music.
really.
So-
No,
Yeah,
I didn't see
so-
that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Yeah. That was
No,
hype.
you're
Go
good.
for it. Go for it. Say what you're saying.
Yeah, he dropped copyright, and Metro also dropped that beat, the BBL Drizzy.
Oh,
beat,
we'll get to
like,
that part. We'll get to
completely-
that part.
Yeah. Okay. So after The Alchemist, so on Not Like Us, the producer on that is DJ Mustard. DJ Mustard's big thing is he's like a frequent collaborator with YG. And YG, I think, is like blood cousins with Kendrick or something like that.
They're close, if not that. Yeah.
They're
He gives him a
very
shout
close.
out on Family Matters.
Yeah, so yeah, on Family Matters, Drake is talking shit on Kendrick, saying like, "Oh, you're not really about it. You're not affiliated. YG, I know him. He's my boy. He's affiliated." And so, this next song that Kendrick dropped, was produced by literally YG's, like not his producer, but his boy. That's the guy he works with.
One of his main guys, and
he
took YG's line in the beginning. Actually, that's YG saying that.
Yep.
So the first thing you hear out of Not Like Us is the guy that Drake was like, oh, this guy's about it. He took a line from him saying, "Busted on the beat." Oh,
yeah, and so going back, so that's the producers. So on 616, supposedly 616 is National Father's Day.
616. People have like 45 different reasons why it's 616. I think a few of them are hella reaching, but I'm sure
it's like numerology level shit.
Yeah.
But the most damning part is Kendrick announced a concert for 616 in Toronto. And so that's the funny part with that. And then I think the other ones don't necessarily have like any double entendres with a name, other than like they have pictures which become relevant, like the album art is like stuff. So the whole time Kendrick is claiming there's a mole in Drake's camp, and so the album art is specifically shit that's Drake's. Like the first one I think in Euphoria is a picture of a Maybach glove, which is supposed to be Drake's Maybach glove. And then in, I can't remember which one, they're get all convoluted now. It's a blown out picture of it, and it's like Drake's like there's like prescriptions and receipts and shit. That's all Drake shit. And so that's just trying to push the narrative.
Yeah, I saw that going back and forth because there was a lot of people arguing about that on Twitter, which fair play. A lot of people are like, that's going a little too much.
Right. Yeah, and that's getting like borderline corny. Like for me especially, it's like, all right, this is like, to say it best, it's like Drake's bringing his Degrassi shit into real life. It's like almost soap opera with how like corny it is. But yeah, that's all I can think of for like the music and like the producers and like song titles.
So there's a layer for that, right? So let's
real quick. I just to finish the thought I was starting, and then we got into that other tangent down there. The thing I was gonna say is I do feel like I'd probably also have a lot more appreciation for a lot of what's been going on in this beef if I had been there like from the beginning.
For sure.
Because honestly, there is so much that like as soon as you're like, did you look into the producers? I'm like, oh fuck, I forgot that angle of it at all. This is the best way I can think to compare it, and I feel like maybe Kels is probably the only one that's gonna understand this comparison. Is I feel like coming into this beef as a bystander, even with the research I've been trying to do to educate myself, is the same as giving someone a weekend to research all the history needed to understand the Bray Wyatt versus John Cena Firefly Funhouse match. Because there's there's like 30 years of wrestling deep lore involved in that match.
I feel like that's honestly how it is, especially with Kendrick, because he's painting a story with like a very, not a broad brush, but with like a very fine brush. Like he's referencing stuff. He's referencing his music. He's referencing Drake's music. He's referencing other people's music, and he's referencing like street culture along with like inside baseball shit. So like there's very particular lines like Kendrick says, like I forget the exact line, but he's like, "Have you ever played Have You Ever?" And that's referencing in battle rap. That's like a game that gets played where it's kind of like a back and forth type of thing. So he's kind of like throwing it back to like, you're not from where I'm from. You're not what you claim you are. Mm-hmm. And there's just other lines where he's like referencing back. Like he references Jay-Z a few times. I think it's the "I won't tell no truths about you." I think that's like a Jay-Z line that he throws it back to. And there's like a few others. Like,
which he says that in the Heart Part 5 too.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I definitely feel you. There's like a lot of, especially with Kendrick. With Drake, not so much because it's more face value. Like he's addressing like, you're short, you beat your wife, shit like that. Meanwhile, Kendrick's kind of like painting a story, kind of like illustrating something for you, writing a fucking memoir for your son to time capsule for 10 years.
Drake tries to make more like music you can replay to.
Yeah.
Kendrick is someone that writes a line, like researches it, writes a line, researches, writes a line, researches, writes a line. He doesn't like, he didn't just like pop that out. That's also why I like Not Like Us so much, because he reversed a lot of the stuff in that court. But we'll talk about that where he said, "Bro, when we get a Drake Kendrick Iceberg video, I think give it like either 6 months to a year when everything is settled, because what's gonna happen is this now." I was confident. I still kind of feel like there's a chance Kendrick might drop something still. People are saying no. We'll talk about that, but
I feel like there's at least one more in the chamber.
that's what people are saying. There's one more locked, but like people are saying that Drake's waving that flag, which just sounded like it, right?
Yeah.
But we'll see. But I think let dust settle. But I think we're gonna get disses like every now and then. Like Kendrick's gonna say something about this in the next album, regardless.
Yeah, I think that's what's gonna turn back to. I think Drake's gonna start doing like sneak dissing again. He's just gonna like slide a line into like a song every now and then. He's not gonna directly.
He's gonna make a line like something about like, man, I hit like a certain someone or something like that, and it'll be like, oh, we get it. Like,
Yeah.
Anyway,
Like, all right, Drake, whatever.
which I want to mention, Kel's mentioned, yeah. So Kendrick went and removed copyright off all of his songs. So all the reactors this weekend got paid. Shout out to them.
Yeah,
Good
'cause
shit.
I've watched
Fucking A.
like so many myself.
They were popping up all over trending, dude. Shout out to No Life Shaq. Homie has the bag for all this like the music reaction stuff. And he made a video, I think yesterday or today, saying like, "Hey, bro, shout outs to Kendrick for doing this." He's like, "I have connections, so it's like if I want to react to something, they'll pay me regardless, and I'll get those off. If not that, to the smaller channels, you got to deal with the strikes and stuff." He's like, Kendrick removed all that. He's like, "I'm gonna be real. This weekend, I saw numbers that like made me shocked." He's like, I'm not like foreign to like 6-digit numbers sometimes. Like, let's just be real. But like numbers that I saw was like, oh shit. So shout outs to everyone. They all got their bag this weekend, which is good. Because to be fair, a lot of reactors that I'm used to watching for like anything, they were glued to the chair this all weekend. Like they worked overtime all weekend because we'll talk about the timeline.
Fucking talking about.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you're saying.
and on with that too was Metro. He put out Metro Boomin. He produces for Future and some other dudes. He's a big producer. He put out, so he's part of it all because they kind of kicked it off here.
Would like
recently with
that.
Control with, yeah, like that. There you go. And so he put out a track. It was just a beat. It's called BBL Drizzy.
Which-
because there's a widespread rumor that Drake's had like BBL and like different plastic surgeries done. And he put out a contest. At first, it was whoever
free
wins
beat.
this contest, they get a free beat from me, which that's huge.
Really
So,
quick, sorry, have you heard it, David?
No, the first mention I've heard of that was actually hilariously from Pat God. I saw his video today.
Oh, because he's like, all right, because he upped it. It was a free beat. Now it's winner gets a free beat and 10K. Second place also gets a
Yeah.
beat. Let me play it real quick
Yeah.
before you get to it.
But anyways, this song is completely copyright free. It's kind of cut
Can you hear that?
a little bit. It's like cutting
Roughly.
it out, yeah.
All right. Yeah, go listen to that. Sorry. Go ahead.
But it's like I was saying, it's completely no copyright with it, so anyone can take it, use it. That he's had, and they've been going crazy with it. I've been seeing people from like different genres kind of hopping on it and doing shit too, which is great because I've seen there's this dude Andy Sizek. He's big in like the more not metal but like post-hardcore kind of like Vans Warped Tour type scene. He hopped on it. He's been popping off. A bunch of people on TikTok have been getting like a lot of views and shit off of it too. So it's really cool how it's kind of like uplifted. Like I've seen a meme. It was Metro summoned the fucking SoundCloud Avengers.
Dude,
to
dude,
battle
I saw
Drake.
that tweet. I saw a tweet while driving. I had a coughing attack. That was the funniest thing. That might be in like my top 5 tweets of all time. It's just
Yes,
it's
that's so
it's
fucking
Black
good.
Panther walking out with all the portals, and it says like, dude, Metro Boomin just summoned the SoundCloud rappers to help him in this war against Drake. Because now, and there's a billion SoundCloud rappers, right? Everyone, and everyone's just talking shit on Drake in multiple languages, in multiple genres, and one of my other favorite tweets was bro, you got Drake out here fighting, and there's like a 19-year-old in like Iowa rapping his heart out just to fucking fire off at Drake and get some beats. Like, and there are some kids going in that sound fucking brutal and like they're hungry, dude. They're like, I need this beat. So they're rapping like some solid fire that you're like, oh shit, all right.
Yeah, and it's cool too because like I've been seeing the different genres. I've seen people like just play instruments to it. I've seen like performances to it.
Did you
It's
see
crazy. Like
some comedian rapped on it? Because some comedian said
yeah,
that Drake stole his joke about having like a green screen of something and it fell off. And he's like, Drake used it right afterwards, but you never gave me credit for it. And he's like, all right, so big rapper want to steal from a small comedian can steal from a big rapper. Let's go. It just raps fucking heat, dude. He just raps heat.
Wild.
There was one rapper.
You know this shit is. Oh, I'm sorry. You go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, because I have my stuff saved.
I was gonna say, you know this shit is wild when like every fucking corner of even my Twitter, and I follow mostly like video game shit, weeb shit, like the most just uninterested in what you would expect. You know, the only overlap is some of the nerdcore artists. You know, Mega Ran had live streams talking about that. I kind of expect that. But when I shouted this out to you two, fucking Midori, goddamn prominent Sega and Atlas leaker, is like, nah, I got Kendrick on this one.
I'm genuinely surprised
That's fucking wild to me.
I was sure Warrior 64 was gonna post it. Honestly, I'm kind of surprised he didn't.
He's staying out of that beef. He doesn't want none.
There's two things I want to reference. One, all right, this is a little messed up, but it made me laugh earlier today. There was a video of someone driving by, and you see a bunch of people just kicking someone's ass on the side, and this is the part I'm allowed to say on YouTube. They roll up and he listens like, oh, what's going on? He's listening with someone there, and he hears that they're a R-word person that does stuff to people. And you go, oh wait, he is. All right, hold up. He gets out of the car and starts also beating him. I'm like, that's, yeah, because they said that's what SoundCloud rappers are doing. They jump in on the Kendrick and Drake beat. Like, oh, he likes kids? All right, hold up. And they just roll on that. There was one rapper who I saw killed it. And I think he was like, I'm 17 too. And the thing that scares me about that is, are you going to come for me? He's like, two. I forget the line. But shout out to him. He had 4 followers that morning. Popped that off, and when I saw him on Sunday, he had 8,000 followers at that point.
Holy hell!
So like everyone's like, oh, this, and his thing was solid. So I'm like, he might pop off. So shout out to that. There are some Metro stuff that we got to address at the very end as well. We'll get to that also too. Timeline, rewind. We started off last time like that, dropped. Cool. 7-minute drill dropped. All right, J. Cole's like, I see where this is going. My bad, and everyone on the internet's like. I love the memes. Everyone's like, yo, Kendrick and Drake are fighting, and J. Cole's out here picking flowers and just hanging out in the sun.
He's riding his bike,
yeah,
his feet somewhere.
Yeah, I praised this one on SoundCloud. Did the Metro Boomin beats on SoundCloud. It's a banger. The instrumental alone, it's called a distrumental now from the community. Never heard one of those before. It's great. And then you get push-ups. TaylorMade, then we get Euphoria, and that's where we were at last week, right? We were chilling, and you know what? No one foresaw what was going to happen this weekend. It's so good that you followed up on that, David, because this is what, like, genuinely, for the fans of the genre, this is something that parents will tell their kids that they were around for. Like, not like being ironic or something, but like, this is something of the levels of like Jay-Z, Nas, and like all the pantheon of beef. This is like one of the top.
It truly feels like the closest to like old school rap beefs back in like the gangster rap days that this will ever probably have.
Right. Now the only difference that this is the issue with this one that I still like to be critical about it is it was a he said she said deal versus like past beefs. They came with receipts and like I said, this is what's been going on. This is what's been going on.
They also came with gunshots, but
I mean, no, this one did too.
Yeah.
Well, it's true. I suppose there were shots near his estate.
Yep. So Friday morning, 616 in LA falls or drops, and I'm like, all right. It was kind of slow, but it played that psychological game of like, hey yo, you might want to check your camp there. Okay. All right,
For
we're like,
me,
all right,
it was entirely like, oh shit, there's more, there's more.
yeah. Because again,
Like I texted my boy, I was like, dude, there's more, there's another song.
Kendrick has not dropped in like 5 years. Right? When did Mr. Morale come out?
I think it was like right before the pandemic. Was it 2019, 2020?
Let's see. Oh, 2022.
Okay.
So it's been 2 years.
Falls deep in the pandemic,
Yeah, it's been 2 years. I'm thinking a lot bigger, but Kendrick doesn't drop very often. Drake's always dropping shit. Kendrick does not drop too
he
often.
doesn't really like drop singles, and he's not someone that you see feature a whole lot either.
And comparatively towards like someone like Drake, who's on literally constantly everything. So 616 drops, and it's kind of like it's not heat, but it plays a psychological game, and little do we know what was going to happen that night. So was it that night, or it was that night, right? Or was it Saturday?
I believe so. Yeah, I think it was that same day. Because that was the day, because we got 616, we got the reply, and then we got Kendrick right after.
Here's what happened that Friday, and I remember, right. I woke up that morning to a Kendrick drop. I'm like, that's crazy. We go to Colorado, and I was tired, so I let the girlfriend drive. I go to bed. I swear, I slept for like 45 minutes. And I woke up to not only a Drake drop, but Kendrick already responded in the 45 minutes I was asleep. So I woke up, and I was like, holy fuck. It's wild. So
anything else I should know about?
Yeah. Family Matters dropped. And to be fair, Family Matters was pretty scathing for like Drake. Drake did like pretty solid on like trying to get back. But the problem with Drake is he's got production that he needs to go into. He needs to take time to rumble that stuff out. And you could tell that took some time. Also, he wanted to go extra with it with
like 20 people that need to write it for him.
Yeah. But also like one of my favorite albums is Good Kid, Mad City. We talked about it last week. So I took shots at that. You crushed in the van there. I was like, all right, now it's getting personal on my end. I'm like, yeah, you can't just do that. But anyway, within the hour, I forget what someone said. It was like 40 or 50 some minutes. Kendrick responded back. So it took away everything.
It was less than 30 minutes.
Was it?
It was like 25. I think it was like 25 minutes in between.
Real quick.
It was like less than half an hour.
Let me check that real quick. Cause it was something obscene.
Yeah, because by the time I found out that Drake dropped a song and listened to it, Kendrick had already dropped it.
The reactors to that are so funny because they're like,
yeah,
because I think it was the Villa Villa or something like that. I wish I could get their names. There were so many I watched, but they start off their second video with, "Hey, when do you think Kendrick's gonna drop?" And the guy's like, "I don't know, man. Tomorrow is crazy." He's like, yeah, he dropped already. He just starts laughing, and he pulls up the window because he had it hidden there the entire time, and he just points at the screen, and he looks like, no. He's like, yeah. He's like, holy fuck. Oh yeah, where is this?
And that's Meet the Grams too, isn't it? So it was like a bomb going off. It's like, holy
dude, that was exhausting to follow too, like in a way, because like it was so much going on.
Yeah, I watched Fantano's reaction to it, and how he reacted was like perfect. Like he paused, like it would do that, addressing whoever he was talking to. He's like, "Dear Susan," he's like, pause. He's talking to his mom now. That was me.
Yeah. 20 minutes later, Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams. And Meet the Grams is so heavy, dark, and super scathing, and it's like that's something we'll say that for when David's there, but yeah. While we're waiting, Gabriel says, I still need to finish Good Kid, Mad City. This is the one of the songs, and it was so good. I'm looking forward to that. Awesome. It's a great album. All right, David.
Yo.
So we're talking about how Family Matters dropped. 20 minutes later, Meet the Grams dropped. And Meet the Grams, I'm gonna say Family Matters was good, but it's so funny because like no one talks about that because of just how fast Kendrick was able to whip it away from that with one of the darkest tracks just ever. And it's funny because Meet the Grams is what people realize, like, oh, this isn't just like a rap beef now. This is like real shit.
Wait, did you say that Family Matters was good?
I think for especially when you think of the quality of stuff that Drake did, I think it came in with that. I think I'm trying to be objective too with it, because I'm obviously biased.
I am gonna argue that I'm the most objective person. I had no horse in this race until fucking I went on this deep dive. That there is not a single Drake song in this whole back and forth that has been good.
I think
every song amounts to either one of 3 different beats that his producers know how to make, and a lot of like, did you know I fuck? I fuck, guys. I fuck.
Well,
and then like every so often there's like a nugget of oh, by the way, Kendrick beats his wife.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Family Matters did have some like was an actual retort on character for Kendrick, which had some stuff on it. I think again, while I hated it, the van they crushed in there, David, is the van that's on the front cover of his debut album, of Kendrick's debut album, which is saying a lot too. That's actually where Drake kind of also layers it, because that van in Good Kid, Mad City, there's a story behind it, where that's where that was his escape into the life of how that was, and him and his friends would ride around it. There's tracks you could hear them riding around in it. So he took that van, delivered it, and crushed it like that. That's a layer on top of that, which I appreciated. Being a video, I appreciated. I think his biggest mess up was still being too scattershotted. If it had been focused only on Kendrick, good. But the problem with fighting Kendrick is you cannot leave openings. You cannot leave yourself open for anything. So when Drake shot at everyone else again, he shot at The Weeknd saying he was gay, and he was also doing that in Atlanta, which left Kendrick just like ammo. And he's like, cool, reload, got you on this too. So that was his blunder on there.
Yeah, that was my big thing with Family Matters too. I'm kind of with David on this. Like, none of his songs impressed me. None of Drake's songs. They all were typical Drake, I would say. But there were like one-liners or something that would catch me or make me laugh. Like, I can't deny that for sure. There's witty writing there, but none of it was like, for me, like a good song. Like, I'd listen to it and be like, okay, that was funny, but I wasn't like bobbing my head. I wasn't like getting into it.
No,
or anything like
I get that. I get that.
I'm just in general not like a huge Drake fan. I'd be amiss to say I didn't like know his songs, sing them, or anything like that. But I'm not like, none of these songs that he dropped in this little timeline like made me go, wow, this is something from Drake.
It's better than the stuff that he gets, which is what I'm trying to kind of allude to. Is I think it's better quality, but it's still not too much Drake stuff for a rap, right? Like, it was cute him trying to do like I'm really trying to keep it PG. He's trying to like harmonize it, and we're like, this is a rap beat, bro. I want to hear some bars. I'm not trying to hear you sing, right?
Yeah, meanwhile, he's talking about his floppy dick.
Yeah, I'm really trying to get PG because you want your girlfriend to listen, right?
Yeah, exactly. She needs to be able to buy tickets.
All right.
You know, and that's the other thing too, is again, the only one song in all of these where he's like, nah, I don't fuck kids because I'd be in jail. But meanwhile, every song is still emphasizing how much he fucks up to this point. Yeah. So it's like, you have Kendrick this whole fucking time be like, he fucking diddles kids, and you just got this cloud over here like, I fuck, and Kendrick's like, that's the problem.
So here's the thing. I mean, here's kind of what I say with a lot of music is, you got to be careful with your heroes in music, because there is an extremely high probability chance that your favorite artist has fucked someone underage, whether knowingly or not, because of just the amount of groupies they get after shows, right? Someone's gonna lie about their age. I can promise you just about everyone's fucked someone underage there. So it's kind of like that nuke button in the industry, right? Where like, I would just be very careful around all that.
I grew up with Vans Warped Tour, so yeah, that was
right.
I was gonna say, anyone that grew up a fan of 80s and 70s music, and unfortunately,
that too,
has gone through basically the like, well, I guess I just don't get to like music anymore phase.
Yeah, David.
Or you gotta really disconnect.
14-year-olds.
You gotta disconnect from that.
Oh, he hurt the most. Jesus Christ. Even worse was the whole fucking. Did you go back and see his interviews he did about Labyrinth?
Yeah.
One almost forgets that she is 14. Really? Yeah. Does one almost forget she's 14?
Like, pause, please. Don't continue going where you're going.
Oh, like that one fucking hurts.
So, I think, and here's my juxtaposition, right? And when you look at Family Matters to The Heart Part 6, the production from each shows how not nimble Drake is.
Yeah, the Heart Part 6 surprised me with frankly how bad I think it is.
And I was expecting heat because that title, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like the craziest part about that is the title, David. So the Heart Part 6, if you didn't know, Kendrick uses the heart as like a precursor to a new album. When he's gonna drop a new album, he'll do that, and it's kind of like warming you up and kind of like a prelude to everything. He'll fire some shots at people, kind of warm things up, and then do that. So like the Heart Part 5 was him talking some shit and saying, "Hey, come back on this day for an album." So when I saw the Heart Part 6 trending, I thought Kendrick dropped again. I was like, oh shit, but no, that tripped me up.
Well, it's funny because that's actually my note I have here. When the Heart Part 6 dropped, I'm like, at this point, these two have dissed each other so much that they basically have created a collab album.
Yeah. So the spiciest thing about the Heart Part 6 is the name, which is unfortunate. But like, look at this is the production of it. Family Matters has a lot of production behind it. There's like none in the Heart Part 6. It's very boring, and he talks for the last like minute and a half, which some people like. I don't really care about just like straight talking. If you're gonna talk, be a little poetic about it, right?
You can be powerful on the right song.
Well, that's what we're saying.
Not the song.
Meet the Grams is like talking, but it's got some poetic to it. He's just talking.
Does it in the song? Like he sounds tired. Like
dude,
he
sounded
like his last gasp.
He sounded exhausted.
Yeah.
Homeboy said on Family Matters, "I'm gonna go on vacation." That was not vacation. Like he sounded exhausted. Like it's actually wild. I said that to Neo. I'm like, yo, Kendrick winded the entire writers team for Drake right now. It's crazy. Also, I do believe Drake writes his own stuff because the lines in the Heart Part 6 were so bad. I'm like, oh yeah, Drake wrote these. There's like no way he didn't write those.
I've seen someone say they're like, I feel like the ghostwriters wrote like the first few lines and Drake thought he had it and took over from there.
Right.
On that subject, real quick, it was funny because one of the many videos I've been recommended that I ended up watching as part of this rabbit hole is, I guess, Kendrick worked with Eminem at one point.
Yeah, they're homies.
Eminem has a habit of vetting people that way of like, all right, you can show up with whoever you want, but they need to fuck off for a while we initially work. And it was just to confirm that he actually had skill and wasn't ghostwriting.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Eminem and Kendrick are homies. Which is
can you do an impression of him exhausted as he was?
I can't. You were just talking, and he's not doing because Drake knows what he's doing. He's very charismatic, but when he's talking, he just sounds like he was like for a regular person that's not hopped up on shit like every one of these people are. Sound like someone that was up all night.
Yeah, it would honestly be like the best way I can describe it is, you remember the South Park episode poking fun at Michael Jackson, and the whole episode is just Michael Jackson going, "That's ignorant, that's ignorant." Like, just picture that, but just just tone the pitch down of like, nah, that's ignorant.
And you know, when you and your friends are hanging out, and it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and you're struggling to stay up. That's how it sounded.
Yeah, it's like, hey, bro, you going to sleep? No, I'm not going to sleep.
He stutters a bit on it, like. Oh man, what was it like? Yeah, we know you're gonna drop a response in this, so like, what it is, you know.
Like you're waiting for that point, like when you're with friends and exhausted, if someone just be like, "Man, remember we ordered that pizza one time, and they forgot one of the toppings," and then everyone's so exhausted they just actually laugh at that, even though it's not funny. There was no joke to it. It was just like. That was the level of exhausted he sounded.
It sounded tired, dude. But the whole thing sounded tired, to be honest. But like, definitely when he was just talking, it was. So, Meet the Gramps happened, right, David?
Yo.
In rap, and I think Kendrick made it obvious in Euphoria. He was like, "This got personal when you brought my family into it because you don't do that in rap beef.
Yeah.
You got to keep it like to each other. If you bring family on it, then you cross the line." So like, not only did Drake cross the line, but he's like, "All right." Kendra's like, "All right, I'm gonna literally just like jump over the line now." Literally, Skip said, "All right, I'm not gonna talk to you anymore. Let me talk to your family over here," which is fucking wild. Like,
talk to your mother.
yeah, like look at any reactor's face. Their face just drops when you hear "Dear Adonis," and they're like, "No."
Yeah.
My favorite,
Yeah.
my favorite fucking one though, is I Show Speed's reaction. Did you see that?
No.
It's so funny. Uh, he has the same reaction when it goes to like, "Dear Sandra," and then he's like, "Let me sit down. What I'm gonna say is kind of heavy. Your son's a sick man. You should go to prison. I think people like him should die." And I Show Speed, just like everyone else, comedic timing is literally the most impeccable thing ever. He like gets shocked, pause, like, "Dude, that's crazy. How you gonna say that about a 3-year-old?" It was so funny.
Like, I don't care what anyone says. I Show Speed has some funny moments like that.
Yeah.
But his like comedic timing's fucking stupid. Like, I don't understand how it works out.
That's the
so well.
funniest thing, dude. What was it? Kai Cenat for Not Like Us just he just starts a gang signing, and then he stops like, wait, stop. Pulls full screen. "I am not gang affiliated, y'all. I don't know why I did that. My bad. I'm a good boy. I went to college. I just streamed. I'm not affiliated. My bad. I don't know why I started doing
No,
that."
I seen that man give Logan Paul brass knuckles to use against Kevin Owen. He's not a good boy.
But I just thought that was funny too. And he was like, all that during his, like, he just keeps saying it like, "I want a crip walk so bad. I want a crip walk. I'm not even a crip." Let's
What the
see.
music does to you.
Avery says, "So basically, me and my friends were awake all night playing. Yeah, he was tired." So Meet the Grams crossed a major line. That scared people. That was like that, and that I think that was a track that exhausted a lot of people, which is why like it was really good to have Not Like Us to follow up with that.
Yeah, pick him back up.
Yeah. So, Not Like Us gets dropped. And Dave, I know you said that it's kind of cheesy or corny. The reason why I like it is, one, I think it's a club banger, which is funny because like you see videos. Literally, Drake will never Drake can't recover from this. Like, he may be just as big as he ever was, but reputation wise, he is now hurt because there are clubs all over the country right now. And for summertime, it's literally the perfect summer song because of that beat.
Yeah.
That are going to be popping off, and everyone's now chanting like "certified pedophile" and "OV ho" just all over the country and dancing to it. Like and that's Drake's people, like the clubby people and all that. That kind of track is something that Drake would have had, and just now is everyone chanting against him, even if they don't give a shit about it. They're chanting against him. His numbers blew up. So like Drake said on Push-Ups, numbers wise, you can't keep up with this. And Kendrick produced the best numbers out of he had the highest numbers out of the whole beef. Like, Not Like Us, while it's like not as like scathing on a level of like Euphoria or Meet the Grams, it hurts Drake's ego. I can promise you, the most of everything else.
I think.
I mean, especially with that, I will grant that song. It does have one of the fucking hardest lines. Because I took notes on some.
A
of the
minor.
Lines, as well. Trying to strike a chord. It's probably A minor.
Which, shout out to Drake. The corniest way to come back from that was saying a note that doesn't really exist. Because he goes, some like y'all gotta be sharp until you what was it? And then D, but D major, something like that. I was like, yeah, that was corny.
Well, it's funny. He tries to make a line out of it. I've seen people analyze it, and they're like, "Well, that doesn't exist. It'd actually be this, which is actually A minor."
No, B sharp.
If he were a smarter individual, and also trying to do like a weird deep cut, I'd be like, maybe it's a Cannibal the Music reference, but I highly doubt that's what that was intended to be.
Ain't no fucking way.
I like how
That's Cannibal
Drake
Music,
fans will try to be like,
fantastic
look, he meant this
sauce.
different things, and I was like, no, he just fucked up. And it's funny because like how much, even if all this info was planted, which I don't I don't believe, because for someone that
Show us the
went
text.
out and bought
Show
the
us where this was planted.
for someone that went out, did all the effort of buying the fucking van off, like not the same one, but buying a similar model van from the cover of Kendrick's first album, doing all that, to not record yourself giving us info up is corny. I
Yeah.
think like you didn't do it. Like if you did, if Kendrick dropped 20 minutes after you, I would have immediately hit back with a picture of, again, of Drake just like doing like this next to like the pictures or something, like outside of the frame or something. Like you could have done anything to record. You're like, oh, I wiretapped it. All right, then where's the records? Like you should have been recording that. No, I don't believe you. Like you could
This
have.
is what happens when you have older generations that haven't had to do the YouTube apology. And where's the receipt videos? Give us. That's what ultimately we need for a lot of
Right.
this.
So I'm looking at the,
You say you're playing 8D chess. Cool. Give us at least a few text messages. Show us. Scroll through your phone so we can see it's
That
not
night,
you going
right.
ahead and inventing this shit.
That night he was on his story like saying, "Oh, I don't know where his daughter is." It's like I would have immediately been like, "Hey, shout out, you fell for it."
Yeah, dumbass. So I'm looking at the top 100 for Apple Music, and the top 10, 6 of them are from specifically this beef.
Nice.
Hell yeah.
But shouts to like Euphoria. The beginning of Euphoria is like fabricate stories on the family front because you heard Mr. Morale, and it's so funny because like even to like the Heart Part 6, Drake is still doing that.
Yeah, like he completely misunderstood the lyrics.
So
Like how he's not like it's not even like something you have to read into. Like he specifically says, "I did not."
Which
Or-
is funny because like that was something in interviews Kendrick said was part of the whole problem that led to this beef to begin with. Is it was like with some kind of sports station or some shit he was having an interview with. I know it's kind of all blended together at this point.
Yeah.
But there was one interview where they're like, were you serious about like calling out all these people? And he's like, well, I mean, I feel like the people that understood what I was trying to say understood it, and then there's one that didn't. And very clearly pointing out the fact that Drake didn't get that he wasn't actually initially trying to start like an actual war, and he was just like, no, let's bring some fun back to this. Let's get some competitive energy.
well, that's what he was doing with Control, right? Was all that was like I want to just because on the BET cipher he made a year later, I want to say. He was talking. He's like, I made that and nothing was the same as Control, and it tucked a sensitive rapper back in his spot because it was Drake just being like, nah, he ain't murdering anything, like I'm still here. It's like, bro, just everyone else was like competitive about it, and you could have been too, but nah.
And that was one of the other hilarious things that was kind of pointed out as I was doing research on this is like, again, using Control as a starting point, because I think that was the song that was like, 2013, that basically was the kind of progenitor for all this to happen, was one of the analysts that was kind of talking about the whole history between these two, was talking about is how it's hilarious and wild how, like, throughout the first few years of all of this, Drake was, like, making all these little side disses and all these little sneaky disses, but still publicly trying to like give credit to him and still be like,
You want to be buddy with him,
cool,
but like
homie."
no.
Meanwhile, the whole time Kendrick didn't give a fuck. Never once throughout all this since 2013 has Kendrick said anything nice or even just encouraging towards Drake. Drake has been basically trying to dick ride while insulting him at the same time for all these years. So to have this finally build up to where it has, it also adds that fantastic layer where it's like, it adds that more weight where it's like one of the earlier lines of this, and it's somewhere here in my notes of like, you don't want me going into details about all the shit I know. And that's the only reason I give a little bit more credence to some of Kendrick's verses over Drake's.
That's something you don't want to do.
Exactly, is the fact that like Kendrick has been consistent throughout this entire thing where Drake hasn't. So I'm a little bit more apt to believe the guy that's been entirely consistent than the guy, like, unless for the last almost 10 years now, he's been such a pathological liar that he's been able to be that consistent with his shit. But that's kind of fucking hard unless you're a literal sociopath.
Yeah, and there's also been a few things also that have kind of people have sussed out that kind of give it more context to, like, okay, so getting a little parasocial inside baseball again. Kendrick's baby mama that he's alleging that he beat on, her name's Whitney. So on Twitter, Whitney's brother, so Kendrick's in-law or whatever,
was rooting for
rooting for him, yeah, pretty much backing him up. And I think he even replied to someone and said like he never hit her. Like that's
and I saw there was also something about like a cousin of hers too that said something. And I would hope, speaking as a brother, I would fucking hope that if it's true that he's beating on her, the guy's not just like, yeah, fuck it, who cares?
No, so the thing about Kendrick, and Mr. Morale is really all about that, and even Damn to an extent too, for sure, is him trying to cleanse himself. He says, "I'm not the per person," and it's funny because going into it, Kendrick was afraid of the stardom. He was like, I think he kind of felt like that, kind of like inside his bones, like I'm gonna get big, and got scared of it, which is why he doesn't fuck with Drake, right? Drake's like all about that lifestyle. Drake's like all like indulging in that.
And you can kind of see that, like if you've followed his career, like Good Kid, Mad City, like launched him.
Yeah,
like that was insane. Like he went from nothing, no one, until
overnight.
All of a sudden, overnight, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of interviews at the beginning of that album's release when a lot of people were talking like, you know, how are you doing after all this?
Yeah.
In a lot of his earliest interviews, he outright said like, I'm afraid of the money doing things to me.
Yep.
And a lot of them are like, what do you mean by that? He's like, I don't want the money to make me a different person.
And it did. So he fell into a sex addiction, infidelity, and he had to fight that off. And Mr. Morale is really coming to terms with that, and a lot of the community stuff, and the unfortunate like side effects of being in that life and in that community that just like weighs down on the men specifically, that fucks with them, right? That it's not justifying it, it's explaining why it happens.
Right.
And Kendrick is doing his best to like make amends for that.
While also like not warning, but like putting his story out there as like a forbearing, I guess.
Yeah,
Hey,
trying to be like, don't follow my example.
Yeah.
Which is,
you know, kudos to that. Like it's still shitty he went down the path.
Allegedly. Oh, well, that for you.
Allegedly.
Sure. Yeah.
But still, it's one of those things that if he's going ahead and is still owning certain aspects of it, at least, and is like, you know, don't fucking do what I did, that's growth. Like, everyone fucks up. Certain degrees you can't, you know, you can't look past, but still.
Yeah, there's a line in Meet the Grams where he's talking to, I think, the daughter, and there's a line where he's like, and one day you'll need this message too, and that's why I wrote Mr. Morale or something like that.
Yeah, to avoid falling into needing attention from guys in the club, just like with all this money trying to get you away from that, like avoid that. Mm-hmm. And that's why Kendrick doesn't really make the numbers, because his stuff is very deep in trauma, and not a lot of times is it like the club banger you want to listen to, right? It's not like, oh, I can't wait to I'm gonna have Mr. Rao in the whip on repeat all weekend, when it's about like growth and trying to learn to be a better person. How fucking, you know, you don't do that. So everyone's like numbers, but really like you don't play that all the time. But which is why I like Not Like Us, because it was like Kendrick saying I can still do it. Like, chill. So we got
do that too.
So we got Meet the Grams, and then that next day, Not Like Us, and I was talking to my buddy about Meet the Grams, and I swear 10 minutes later I'm like, yo, he dropped, and he's like, nah. I'm like, yep, here's a link 5 minutes ago. And Not Like Us is like I mentioned, the reason why I like it is it's just him kind of flexing, saying, "I can do the shit you want. I can take your people if I want." Because that's something that Drake said earlier. Remember that? He said, "I can do everything you want to do if I wanted to be on some conscious shit."
Yeah.
And so this is Kendrick showing he can also do whatever Drake does whenever he wants.
Does
So
he throw the line about freeing the slaves back in his face too? On that
yeah,
song?
so that's what I'm saying. So you can't, when you're fighting Kendrick, you can't leave yourself opening. So immediately, Kendrick already, it's fresh, right? Because he's addressing stuff he talked about on a Friday track. Um, so he went in there and be like, all right, hey, about Atlanta, gave a whole history lesson about that, and called Drake a colonizer, and talking about how he named up all these people that Drake just used to get his rep up. So good. But a little bit of this dust has settled since Sunday. Metro Boomin had that track this morning. People have been digging up tweets from Metro Boomin, talking about a lot of pedos, edgy humor stuff, which it was 2010 to 2012. He was tweeting that stuff. He was ages 17 to 19 with that time.
I was about to say he's like my age, so yeah, he's probably like high school senior. Or
17
right out.
in 2010. 2019 was tough. It was the highest stuff, and it was like cancel him, Metro Groomin, and I'm like, then to be fair, the tweets he said were fucked up. They were. I had to go in and jump a little bit, back up a little bit, be like, this is edgy humor, and that's how it was back then. I'm like, no, it wasn't. I'm like, bro, and I linked the James Gunn article. I'm like,
Yeah,
here's another example. Literally,
James Gunn shit.
this is, and again, I tweeted that this morning. I'm like, this is giving me James Gunn vibes.
Was using the hard R back then, so
Yeah.
Right, and no one replied back to me whenever I see people like,
so were the Black Eyed Peas.
yeah.
only one of them was black.
I had to. I went back and pushed that, and no one responded back to that. It is exactly a James Gunn situation. I'm like,
No, it literally is.
it was edgy humor, early internet stuff. Is it fucked up? Yeah, apologize and move on, because whatever. Like it's just dumbass humor that isn't
Again,
funny.
when someone is in, I'll say anyone that's like 20 and under is gonna say a lot of dumb shit.
James Gunn was
anyone
very
20
over
and
20,
under.
but it's just the internet back then.
Yeah.
Fair, but I'm more apt to also give specifically for anyone 20.
I'll give teenagers a pass
because-
on a lot of things, just because as someone that don't take us out of context, works with the kids, I hear so much dumbassery from them that I gotta have them reel it back a lot.
I mean, even looking back on me of 10 years ago, me of 10 years ago basically was forced to be an adult in a lot of ways earlier than I anticipated. And I thought of myself as an adult then, but me now looks at me 10 years ago and goes, God damn, that was one dumbass motherfucking cringy bastard.
No, if you looked at me like 10, 15 years ago, and to me now, I probably would have called myself PC idiot, which makes sense, right? When we get called that every once in a while, oh, you're woke. I'm like, yeah, I probably been one of those kids shouting that at people probably, and then tell myself in the future, hey, tell your young stuff to shut the fuck up, because who the fuck cares? And then yeah, so that came out. We saw a shooting's been popping off, pun intended, I guess. Not related to this. It apparently is like related to Weeknd's label and Drake's label, I guess, kind of hitting each other, as last I heard. And then you guys gave me a link to this, and I'll read this off real quick.
Yeah.
Actually, one of you guys mind reading that off so I can take a break with my voice for a second?
Yeah, certainly. Let me pull this up here. Where's my tab for that? I got too many fucking tabs. Open.
Yeah, so to preface it, supposedly there's like some like inside baseball, or I keep saying that there's like some behind the scenes kind of rumblings going on that may or may not have leaked. So it's not 100%, but it's from someone that has gotten stuff right before, I believe.
Yes. So supposedly from a trusted insider.
Yeah.
And basically all we're waiting for is like promised documents to confirm that this is what happened. But straight up, Universal Music Group has had meetings with all parties involved. and Universal Music Group has like, y'all need to fucking stop. Straight up, they're afraid of the amount of money between brands and everything else that they're losing by association with Drake because of all the constant bros a pedophile comments. And they're like, okay, can we like stop? And Kendrick's like, nah, fuck that asshole. I'm ready to go as long as this fucking takes.
Fucking go. That's my goat.
So again, another reason I'm willing to go ahead and give a little bit more credence to Kendrick potentially having receipts, but for maybe some dumb 5D chess move holding on to them. Because at this point, the dude could be sued easily for fucking slander. Like, straight up, this is America, land of the lawyers. And especially if fucking Universal Music Group has stepped in to say, we're losing too much money, stop. And Kendrick's like, nah, fuck that. I'm going to keep calling him a fucking diddler. He ain't afraid of lawyers.
No.
He is not afraid of someone being like, okay, we're going to take legal action at that point. He is 100% willing to have that fight. No one is willing to have a fight with a major fucking corporation unless they can 100% back what they're saying. Like, bro's got a fucking lawyer shopping at the bit saying, oh, fucking let's go. He's willing to be pro bono because he knows the payout's going to be huge.
Again, you can't, as an artist, say, I'm completely free of all this because I'm sorry. Like, deep down inside, you know, like, that young girl that said she was 18, there was probably a chance she was 17. There was probably a chance she was 16, you know? Like, and this makes sense, too, if you think about it, because Drake is very business-oriented, too. That's probably why he sounded so tired. Right? Like, all weekend he was probably talking to people.
How much he's losing out from all this.
Because his writing was sloppy, and all this was, like, going on, so I imagine he, like, hustled that thing out just to get it out, and tried to wave the way of, like, I can't. To their credit, like, that maybe that's also why they're trying to, maybe that's why they're also trying to, like, squell and make it say, like, it's over, just, like, let it move on. And Kendrick already has his, like, he made his statement, right? And people are sticking to it, even though Drake got the last word, people are still citing on Kendrick's side, so Kendrick doesn't need to throw anything out there, right?
For sure.
But he can. He said it. Sorry, go ahead.
The funniest part about it for me is, I guess UMG, they had like a Zoom meeting between all the parties, and they requested that if Kendrick ends it, they want him either directly or said through a representative to post a statement clarifying that Drake does not.
Oh, he's never doing that. He's absolutely not doing that.
No, it just reminds me of the Always Sunny episode. He's busting the guys, we have to write a song.
Write a song about not diddling kids. Maybe we could be like, I don't diddle kids.
Yeah.
But no, and especially where, like, there's no going back. Like, a lot of this beef, that has been one of the major backbone components to Kendrick, is like, no, the homeboy explicitly is out there hunting minors.
Well, okay,
there's no going backwards on that, because either you go backwards and you admit you've been lying, in which case, again, all the libel and slander lawsuits that are going to happen from that, or again, you know it's true and you're like, bet, do something about it.
But you can't. That's what I'm saying. Is like, Drake is fucked, obviously, right? All it takes is one person that has slipped you, which I can promise you has happened. I can promise you, I'd bet both my cats right now that of the hundreds of girls that I'm sure he's fucked, one of them lied. One of them lied.
I'm going to maybe make something that might be a bold, maybe an unpopular opinion. How about don't fuck your fans?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, well,
like, maybe that's a fucking unpopular opinion.
Yeah, that's the problem, is you're gonna go to these things and these guys think with their second brain when they see a bunch of attractive women outside their shows just saying, just take me, they're gonna be like, yeah, whatever.
I don't know. Maybe I am blessed with the fact that I'm too poor to understand that struggle. But I don't find it that hard to not just fuck anyone I see that is willing.
That's because your fans right now are just like 4 or 5 dudes.
Where's
Hell
that backy
yeah.
at when you need him?
Yeah, where's that backy? Actually, I make an exception. I'd put it in at Backy's backside. Let's go. We'll make it happen. OnlyFans, let's go.
So, because I mean, remember he said like not only that, but like the people you run with are these creeper dudes, which you can't vouch for all of them,
Yeah.
right? And some of them on record have charges. So like, I don't. There's a reason why he's not gonna go for like, but also like that's bitch made too. Like,
No, that's not bitch bait.
no.
Anyone that
No,
chooses to surround themselves.
no.
Okay, I'll let you
Hey, let me
finish.
finish.
Sorry.
The bitch made is going for defamatory stuff because this is a rap battle. If you go in and sue him for like slander, you are hurting your image in the rap side because like who the fuck does that? Like go back to Jay-Z and Nas. Nas ethered Jay-Z. Jay-Z lived and still is a great big artist. But like go listen to Ether by Nas. He gets called some shit, and you just have to take it. Like,
you just remember that.
Yeah,
like literally referencing what's happening now. That was like one of the first big ones that people mention. If it's not Biggie, Tupac, it's gonna be Nas. And then I've been seeing a bunch of memes talking about people are like, what other genre of music has this beef?
Well, what was it? My favorite tweets was, can someone explain this in Swifty logic? And someone's like, what if when Taylor made Bad Blood, Katy Perry responded, and Taylor Swift responded back saying you're a pedophile. That's how all this is. Hey Pepperoni, they go back to it. Said, but I thought it'd say how normal talks. No, Drake talking at the end of the Heart Part 6 sounds winded, like he's tired. But like when he talks like in interviews and stuff, he always keeps like a certain charismatic swagger he tries to keep to him to kind of like know he's like I'm all that, you know.
He's like the cool guy. Like
he tries to keep that to him, right? Because he is, even though he's pushing 40, he's like I'm trying to be the cool guy, right?
As IGN might say, he has the charismatic swagger of a black teen.
He does.
Ironically enough, he's going after.
Can we make that? Oh, if we made that meme like this weekend, we would have went viral. We fucked up. So this has some credence to it. I can see this happening on there. But there will be no world in which Kendrick responds with an apology. So their best bet is just hoping Kendrick stops.
Absolutely not. Yep. They have to hope that he gets tired, that he tires himself out.
Kendrick was running a victory lap before Drake even made his last one. Like, Kendrick has the energy. If you make that man mad, I don't want to make him mad.
It's literally the Cap meme. Just, I can do this all day.
Yeah. Like
I can keep going.
Like, the fact that you drop 3 in a weekend and you know you're making it live, right? It's wild. And like the production is great on everything too. Again, I want to reiterate that. Production from Family Matters, like it or not, is high production. Going into like The Heart, there's nothing to it. It's so bare bones, and it's just like him trying to get. And it's funny because now that you mention it and we see this, everyone kind of jokes that The Heart Part 6 sounds like a PR statement.
It really does. Like it's not, especially like the last bit of it. It's like someone said, "All right, Drake, you have to go back in there. We need you to kind of do this for us."
And they woke him up, Drake. We need you to go in there, dude. Like I don't give a shit. Call your people clowns, whatever.
Yeah, like, hey, buddy, we need one more take.
Yeah, this was wild to be part of. Shoutouts. I know reactors are kind of like known as like bottom of the barrel, just stuff, but like, shoutouts to them. I will say, I was gonna say this the last time, but I was already kind of winded from everything as well. The Heart Part 6 was a good way to find out who the really good reactors are versus the kind of like ones that just get hyped off anything. Because anyone popping off for anything in the Hard Part 6 that wasn't part of the first like 15 seconds is like, nah. Y'all gotta chill. Anyone that popped off for the B Sharp line, no. I'm sorry. I think Anthony Fantano rolled his eyes at it, which I'm like, thank you, God. Someone knows how shit that was. Anyone that kind of like calls it for what it is, solid. Anyone that kind of like is just popping off for the sake of popping off, yeah, no. Again, unless you wanted to go for more music, which is fair, but like, I don't know, whatever. David.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you though. Like, I feel like that last song, it's a good litmus test for whoever's like in it for the music or whoever's in there to like try to get the clicks.
Who's
for it,
listening?
Yeah, for sure. Because it is really easy to just start like soy facing at the camera to try to, especially with like how everything else has been popping off.
Drake set him up.
Yeah, exactly. Just start fucking slopping
And
up for it.
I will say,
But
there's also another thing where it's like, again, shout outs to the Villa Avia. I forget what it is. I wish I could know. The two dudes reacting. One of the dudes has like a white stripe kind of on his beard. Shout out to them.
Bob Vila, I think is the name.
What was it?
For Bob Vila.
No. They kind of called it.
about, like,
Old fans of Home and Garden Television will understand.
Yeah, I'm sure all of them out there right now. Hold on.
Bob Vila, well known.
Vibe Villa. Vibe Villa. I think it is. I want to say. But yeah, Vibe Villa. Shout out to them because one of the guys kind of called it, and I agree. I'm glad someone did. I hate that. Granted, I do wish in Meet the Grams, Drake flip flopped. He goes, son, mom, dad, daughter, Drake. I wish he flip flopped the daughter and the mom and the dad part, because a lot of reactors got so caught up, which it makes a little bit of sense, right? They got so caught up on the hiding a daughter, they missed the whole pedophile ring.
Yeah.
So like Vibe Villa, the other guy was in the States, he's like, I can't believe the daughter. And he's like, yo, bro, shut up. Like, are you listening? He's like, no, I'm gonna get there. I'm sorry. He's like, I'm sorry, I'll let you speak. He's like, I'm gonna get there. But that, you're like, yeah, the fucking pedophile ring, excuse me, like hiding a daughter, whatever, like that's shitty. That's like catastrophic. So like anyone that's saying on the thumbnail, hiding a daughter, it's like, no, that's not the fucking biggest takeaway from Meet the Gram. Meet the Grams, that is the nuke. The daughter, but unfortunately it's because the daughter got mentioned so later on after that fact that people are focused on that. I'm like, if you flip-flop that, the bigger nuke would have been hit. But who am I going to tell Kendrick what to write? What the fuck ever.
Maybe you should have passed over that one more time, Kendrick.
Yeah, get me in there on that. Get me in on that producer thing, dude. I got you. Let me in, Kendrick. We'll kill him. We'll kill him. I've always wanted to produce stuff. I feel like part of me, because it kind of leads to that teacher thing, right? Where it's like, let me help you create something. I'm gonna be so meticulous and help you get it out there. Let's do this. But maybe we'll see. David, I'm so glad you got to hop in on this at a perfect time. It's such a wild fucking moment. It does not happen.
I really did get to almost see it straight from like the get go to all. Presumably this is the end. Like,
I think you saw it.
Happens.
You were getting ahead of the game with literally most normies. Like, yeah. Because like everyone was on lock and load after Euphoria, but the fact that you were already researching that Friday means that you kind of got a little bit ahead of the game on that. So like you were already doing the work ahead of time, which is wild. Like your timing could have been more perfect.
Yeah.
You know, it's just we're going ahead and expanding this podcast. We're adding more music into it. In fact, this is leading into our next bit of music drama we're going to be doing, which is we get into the geopolitical slap fighting that is Eurovision, as that is this week. So I look forward to us all doing a deep dive on that next episode.
I'm actually super interested in that.
Hell yeah,
let's go. Something about it. Like, I'll definitely tune into that.
Dude,
see, like, what's
last year's Eurovision was fucking wild. It was the first time. So I haven't followed Eurovision long. It's actually my partner that got me into it. But last year's was wild because it's the first time I've ever seen where the audience really fucking wanted someone to win and all the other countries said, fuck you.
Okay.
Eurovision is political as shit. Like straight up, there are so many countries. Doesn't matter how good the artist is coming into it. If you're like from like Iceland or Norway or some other shit, from a country that quite frankly the big European countries don't give a fuck about, you're not going through to the top. No one gives a shit about you.
Okay.
You know, it's been interesting the last couple of years because, of course, we had the tensions with Russia and Ukraine, which ultimately led to Russia being kicked out of Eurovision. And so, of course, Ukraine won that year's Eurovision because, again,
Tensions
it's
rise.
political.
Yeah.
There's no way Ukraine wasn't winning that year. But last year, the representative from fuck, I can't remember the name of the country. It's bothering me. But one of the basically Norwegian countries came in second, and everyone fucking wanted them to win. They had literally like tens of thousands of fan votes ahead of like everything else. And the only reason that the number one country, which I think actually was England, even won is straight up just because of all the other countries voting for them. That was the only reason. If all the other countries hadn't like specifically voted for them as their top one, the fan vote purely would have been what fucking caused the Norwegian country to win. And this year is even more wild because they have a representative from Israel that is in the top.
Oh,
And and the song that they were doing was specifically a super strong pro-Israel song that a lot of fans were like, "Nah, you can't be doing a pro-Israel song right now. That's not kosher." And the five heads of Eurovision were like, "We'll make them change the song." And basically all Israel did was they took out the specific pro-Israel parts of the lyrics, changed the name of the song, and we're like, it's a different song. And then all five of the top of Eurovision are like, we saw no problem with this. So this is gonna be a fascinating year. I would genuinely recommend looking at least the finals for last year or the year prior. If you're really curious about getting into the absurdity of Eurovision, because it has been completely mask off with how political it really is, and it's a fun fucking time because of it.
so you're saying the movie wasn't too far off from the actual
No,
show.
honestly, the movie was tame. Straight up, from all the stories that you'll fucking read about Eurovision,
Yeah.
and all the actual shit that goes on and is involved in the actual fucking climate of these countries slap fighting each other, the movie was tame.
Okay. That's insane.
So I look forward to next week when we talk about geopolitical confrontations.
Warfare.
When we talk about Eurovision.
We summoned that Becky. Hell yeah.
You see what they said?
I did. We do need that.
Oh, we do need a Kelsey emoji. That's true. We now have a deadweight emoji we can get rid of. So
I don't. Yeah, I don't know where my emojis went. I was gonna add the Uncut Gems one like months ago. I don't know where anything went. I forget how many emojis I have actually. I gotta check.
Yeah, no, I'm like faintly interested in Eurovision. I've always been kind of like on the outside looking in, like faintly just seeing like news come up, be like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then of course the movie, I remember watching that and be like, okay, what the fuck is this?
okay, here's the thing. One of the biggest competitors for this year is this fucking Dutch group that is Windows 95 theme. And their song is basically the hardest gay sex that you can put on film without it straight up just being gay sex.
Oh, okay. They're pulling a Rob Zombie on us, doing some
Basically,
more human than
like
human.
it's fucking wild. The song from last year is called Cha Cha Cha, which I do actually quite enjoy that song. It's a lot of fun. The whole premise of the song is literally a dude who's fucking stressed out from work. So he goes to a bar and he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a pina colada and I'm just gonna go on the dance floor and just hope for the best. And that's the whole fucking song. But it sounds like a Rammstein song. It's like the first half of it is like a Rammstein song, and then it slips into like a fucking East Clubbers track.
Okay, so why can't we get like a Palestinian punk band or something, and
That's
do
a
like
very good fucking question.
and do like a their rendition of Nazi punks and do like Zionist fucks or something?
Hell yeah.
All right.
So play your cards right. We may legitimately have Eurovision talks next week, Chad. Also,
Nah.
Matt Backy, you got signed up for something. You should go rewind the podcast a little bit.
Yeah, be careful. All right. Let's talk about the unfortunate news today.
Oh my god.
Oh wait, what would y'all play real quick?
Ooh. So
Balatro.
Hell yeah.
And I'm actually not too far behind you. So Hades 2 dropped in early access yesterday, I think it was. So that made me go back and play Hades 1.
I need to do that. That's also making me want to do that finally.
Yeah, and it's only like $8 right now on Steam. I have it on Switch. That's where I originally played it.
I've been wanting to get it on Steam Deck.
Yeah, I feel like that'd probably be the place to play it. But that game is fucking fun, dog. It's so good. Like I'm loving it. Like I'm really mad I didn't play it whenever it first came out now. But it was one of those games I remember it being in early access for I think it was about a year. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
Yeah.
But I remember it being in early access for a while, and that kind of turned me off on it. It was kind of one of those situations like I'll check it out on release, then just never did. And now 2 is coming out, so now I'm like, all right, please absolve me of my sins. This game is awesome. I'm sorry for not playing it. So that's what I've been playing that.
I'll get it on Steam. I've been wanting to get it on Steam for some reason. I have it on Switch. I have it on literally everything else, but I think I play my Steam Deck more than my Switch though.
Yeah, I just wanted it physical because, and Switch is like, all right, I can get this and lick it and stick it.
And lick it.
There you go.
Yeah, you have to taste all your Switch games, dude. Make sure they're authentic.
True.
That's what Gore would always do for the first like 250 games he would do. Was like, and I swear his reaction was always like, "It doesn't get any better." I'm like, "Well, it's not gonna get better."
They don't. They all. I feel like eventually, like they might stop doing it, or like something in the manufacturing would get goofed, and like maybe one like doesn't get disgusting. But no, they're all consistently bad.
Good.
Wait for the one day where it's like the golden ticket. You find the one that's just like trip grape flavored, and it's
And
like,
you eat it.
Yeah. Exactly. I get the cotton candy Switch cart. Hell yeah.
Hey, well, on good news. Oh well. David, you play anything?
Yeah, I played like a lot of or a little bit of a lot of things, just because I haven't had time to like commit to a major like playthrough of anything. Plus, I have that weird anxiety I get when I finish a long game or I don't know what I want to play after.
Existential.
So,
Yep.
I played a little bit of a fan hack of Fire Emblem, which recreates Pokemon Red and Blue in Fire Emblem's engine. And so you basically get like a full party of like field controllable Pokemon. It's actually really fun. I think it's actually just called like fucking Emblemon. Highly recommend. Very fun.
That sounds cool.
I got like an hour into it, and it just basically straight up turns Pokemon into a Fire Emblem style SRPG. Very good.
Nice.
Aside from that, also have played a little bit of Desktop Dungeon. It feels like a puzzle game more than anything else. It's okay. Rounds go very quick, but it doesn't have a whole lot to kind of keep me engaged and interested. I might play it a little bit more here and there, but it's definitely not a game I could see myself like committing serious time to. It's fine. I get why some people like it. Some people really do want that just quick pick up, play for like a little bit, drop down kind of game. I'm not typically a gamer like that, so I'm just like, yeah, it's hitting my itch right now because it's all where my brain can handle at the moment. But when it comes time to like sitting down and playing something, not going to be that. Lastly, I've been playing Super Mario RPG, the Switch version. Man, I missed that game. That game was fucking great. I have a lot of nostalgia for that game. It's fun just seeing a lot of the old strategies still work because it's basically just the SNES game with redesigned graphics, and yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm about an hour in. Almost at getting the second crystal or heart or whatever the fuck it is, and I still enjoy it. Still a good game. Would recommend. Beats paying fucking hundreds of dollars for a loose fucking cartridge on Super Nintendo.
Jesus Christ.
That's fair.
For sure.
Yeah,
I've been
so
wanting to get
would
that
recommend.
for the wife because I'll get the Mario games and just have her beat them and then be like, all right, give me the gist. How was Odyssey?
That's what the
I need to
girlfriend's doing
actually
with Super
fucking
Princess
play
Peach
a
right
lot
now.
of those.
Yep. Did you like it? Oh, okay, cool. So I should play a few. Got it.
I'm playing Balatro. That's all I'm playing.
Yeah. See, Pepperoni knows Hades. Dude, Hades is fire.
I'm gonna
That
buy that
game's so
tonight
fucking
on
fun.
Steam Deck.
I gotta play that at some point. I picked it up in the height of all the hype of it.
Yeah.
I don't like roguelikes, so I'm like,
Balatro then.
Adult.
well,
I've put like 60 hours in now. It's crazy.
man.
All right. The some good news they kind of had. Nintendo is gonna announce the Switch 2 before this time next year. I have a feeling it'll probably come
Yeah.
around like October, November. We'll hear something.
Basically, all but confirming that at this point that Metroid Prime 4 will be a cross-gen release.
Oh, hey, good news
a game
also.
announced with the fucking launch of the Switch will be a
Met-
cross-gen release.
Metro by Far wasn't announced to Switch. It was announced like
It
one of the
was
first E3s.
Damn near the early parts of the Switch.
It might have been the first or second E3 of it. I think it was 2017 E3 if I'm not mistaken. At Backy, hell yeah,
they
I can
don't
make
call
exception
it
for
anything,
Big
yeah.
Dave. Too much cake to pass on.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if they don't call it anything other than the Super Switch, it's a complete failure in marketing.
Switch
That-
to Electric Boogaloo.
Switch,
Fucking
yeah, Super
bore
Switch would be
the
great.
Alex.
But yeah, I can't believe how like kind of low key that announcement was because it was like, hey guys, this is, I forget his name, and he kind of like declares who it is, and he's like, just kind of like informal.
It was
Right.
Jeff
It's kinda-
Kaplan of the Overwatch team.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was kind of like one of those. It was kind of like it read like a memo bulletin, just kind of like posted out, like a mass email sent out. It's like, did you mean to post this on the Twitter?
All right.
Who let the CEO on the company Twitter?
So, wait, let's see. So I think, so Drake. So Kai this and that we got a lot of Drake shout outs. And then I guess with his last one, when he starts chanting certified pedophile and throwing up the gang signs, Drake blocked him. So shout outs. That's so funny. All right.
Break my heart.
Oh, hey, shout outs. Flylo got his first platinum plaque today. Tip Butterfly just came in just today. So good timing on To Pimp a Butterfly. That's a great album to go platinum. All right. Let's talk about the bad news that happened. This morning, got hit with a very unfortunate post that Xbox is condensing even more. They're closing Arcane Austin, Tango Gameworks, Alpha Dog Games, which was misquoted as Alpha Dog Studios, which is a really weird slap in the face, and Roundhouse Games. The former two being consolidated into other studios. But, and I'm going to say my piece on this at the beginning and kind of let you guys talk to get my voice a rest for a second. We talked about this whole thing a bit. Arcane Austin closing due to this is super unfortunate because I think what was the rumblings, they didn't want to make Redfall, but they were kind of forced into it. They were hoping Microsoft would have canceled it, but Microsoft was like, "No, keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing everything you guys wanted to," and they're like, "No," made it, just fell flat. Nothing revived
Part
it.
of me wonders like how honest were they with like their feelings on it? Because I definitely get that feeling from them now. Like, hey, this is kind of like our hands were tied. Like, I wonder how much was communicated to Xbox after the acquisition.
Sure.
Or how much was like sugar coated, or like I wonder if they did go and say like, "Hey guys, we did not want to do this. We don't have anything." I wonder if Xbox is just like, "Fuck it, guys. We got to do this. We got to push it out." Because you see movie studios canceling stuff and writing stuff off. Why is that not a thing for video game projects like that? Like how does that work on that end?
Games when they're announced are like in production. In production for games means a lot more, has a lot more depth and a lot more meaning than in production for movies. There's a reason why you've always heard like this movie's in production, or we're making a film on Monopoly, making a film on this, we're making a film on that, we're making a film on this, and then just nothing. Whereas when you hear like we're making a game, for whatever reason, the in video games, production means people are working on it, there's money being invested pretty heavily. Production, until you see actual production starting on movies, it's always very early, like concept stages. Like you'll hear people, oh, we're writing the script of this. That means nothing. That means fuck all. Whereas like you don't hear about,
usually though there's like an allotted budget, right? Like there's already a forecast, like, hey, we're dedicating this to this project. That's why I'm wondering like what's the difference here, because I feel like that would be the same, because I get budgets will inflate, but that's gonna happen with movies too, right? Like you'll go over budget, you'll have to go back for reshoots, you'll maybe need more special effects, and that's why I think like a studio like Arcane or something Bethesda related or Microsoft owned, like they have the overhead to be able to write that off and not necessarily take it as a big loss, because they're a big enough company to take the impact to then get the tax write-off on it. I wonder what's stopping them from, and if there's a reason why between the two different fields.
Let me speculate. Arcane Austin didn't want it, so I just iterate at Becky or Pepperoni. If I recall, this is what I heard.
Yeah, they did Prey. Yeah,
and they shut it down on Prey's anniversary. Fuck that.
Yeah, it's so dirty.
So, Arcane does not sell like big sale games, right? They'll sell games that like do okay, but that's about it. Kind of like where Obsidian was at. They were told by the overheads, make this ongoing live service game because we need money. They were like, fuck it, all right, we'll try. And it was not working well. They didn't want it to work. They didn't want to do it. It's not a passion project at all. Like no one wanted to do it. But then they got bought out, and Microsoft didn't shut it down because I think Microsoft was timid, like of the reputation they have of shutting games down. Right? You hear Arcane, Prey, and then you just know how Arcane's been. They're like, all right, we trust you guys, but they're like deep down, right? We don't want to make this. But I mean, like, what are the overheads gonna say? We forced them to make this game to make money. Like, they're not gonna say that either, right? So what I'm speculating happened is because remember this time last year, there's quotes where Phil Spencer was like, "We're not gonna give up on them," like yada yada yada. What I'm assuming happened is no one had passion. They still had to make his promised DLC that was being worked on 5 hours before shutdown of the studio. Yeah. They had to make this DLC, so it was really going nowhere. You're not going to make money on this DLC. No one wants to make this. No project ahead because it's a live service game. Shut them down. That's what I'm assuming what happened. I'm so incredibly frustrated and confused at Tango Gameworks being shut down. That's the big one. Like,
there's a lot of big and I think it's Alpha Dog or one of the other ones. They did Mighty Doom, the mobile.
Yeah, they did the.
Yeah, and I seen they put out a notice too, because I guess they're doing refunds now for the game because the servers are being shut down in like August or something like that, and so they're issuing out refunds and opening the game up or some shit like that.
Well, even more heinous is it's coming to light that the Hi-Fi Rush developers had a planned streamer mode to contend with the fact that all the music in the game is currently licensed, which means eventually it's going to get delisted down the road. Yeah. And the streamer mode was basically a way they were going to patch into that after the fact to make sure that doesn't happen, and probably not happening now.
Get your physical copies.
Yeah, which I'm.
Oh, we'll be talking about physical games here in a
bit. It's so frustrating because one, Xbox needs Japanese studios. That's our one. Yeah. Two, they've remarked at how much of a success a surprise success Hi-Fi Rush was. Hi-Fi Rush is like the one of the critical darlings Microsoft has right now.
Yep.
I 3. We didn't even get to the Switch port yet. Like, at least wait that out because Hi-Fi Rush is a Switch ass game. I feel like
Yeah,
that could have
for
done
sure.
pretty solid on Switch.
Yeah.
I I just don't get that one. That one makes no sense to me. And you know they knew about this. That's why
No sense.
I remember Shinji Mikami left not that long ago. And we were confused as to why would he leave after that. I'm sure that's why.
Yeah.
I forgot that he actually had left. Yeah. Okay.
So that the
There
writing
was
was
a
on the
tweet I
wall.
saw that was fucking sad and hilarious at the same time. Of like, it's hilarious. It's wild how full circle it's come. Where originally Resident Evil 4 was pitched to Xbox,
Yep.
and the meeting went so bad they went to GameCube instead,
Yep.
just for Shinji Mikami to make a studio that Xbox buys out, and after they make really popular games for them, go ahead and just fucking yeet the studio into the trash can.
Yep.
Uh,
And see, like, it's so crazy because I feel like there's a good depth of like IP there too. Because like you have Evil Within, which is, I love both games. I think they're really good, like continuations of like work Shinji's done in the past. Um, Ghostwire Tokyo, I think I have it like free. I got it through Epic or something. I haven't like played a whole lot of it, but from what I have
it on
touched,
PlayStation.
it,
Need to play it.
yeah, it looks fine. Like it doesn't look
it was all right.
insane or anything, but it looks fine. Yeah, and like so, I feel like especially for a first game, there's room to build on that, and that's an IP that they can use.
That was
like an
confirmed.
original IP.
They were like working
Was
on
it?
that.
Damn.
Yeah,
Okay,
there was
so
a
that makes it
sequel
even
already in
worse. God damn it.
Yeah. And Shinji Mikami went out and posted. I think all he tweeted today was just sad.
Yeah, yeah. He posted like something like "rest in peace," or he posted something about Tango and like a frowny face, or it was something very melancholy and very. It bummed. It bummed me out.
Yeah, it's that one upsets me. Like, I could see the reach for that. I could see you consolidating two studios, but I am so confused at Tango GameWorks. Is
Yep.
it maybe the keeping an overhead on a studio that's foreign?
Well,
I don't
here's
know.
where the other interesting thing comes into play here is remember, Microsoft just acquired Activision Blizzard officially.
Yeah.
And who also, as it was reported today, apparently lost like a $33 million lawsuit. It was, in fact, Activision, which means Microsoft now has to fit that bill.
Yep. They got
Yeah,
the bill
but
done.
I don't think
But
you
I
shut
feel
down
like
studios because that might be your profits.
yeah, and I can kind of see like maybe there might be some that you feel like need to be cut, but I feel like Tango isn't one of those. Just due to the because you're tapping into that Japanese audience, it's building goodwill there, and you have good
But that's not
IP
where their
that you can
money
build
is.
off of. Yeah,
Think of
I
it from
feel
an
like it's just like a
executive level.
branch into it.
It is literally, unfortunately, become just an even grander scale of what Activision was doing with Activision Blizzard, where they were like, Call of Duty, that's our money, and now Microsoft has Activision Blizzard, and like, Call of Duty, that's now our money. We have them for Call of Duty. Let's be honest about it.
Do you think?
They have them for Call of Duty. Put more efforts into that. Grind out the fucking Call of Duty revenue.
They said fuck Tango, and they're just going for the big dogs, and they're
You
just
know,
gonna buy Sega next.
you know what? That makes sense as to how Tweets for Bob got out. They probably were on the chopping block, and they said, "No, we can handle this on our own. Let us get out."
Yeah,
Yep.
made a deal. Let's make a deal.
They opened the right box apparently. That makes sense. I just don't know, maybe it could be the because if you look at other studios, I just don't see why Tango GameWorks, like the studio that released a game that Microsoft has said that was well received, exceeded expectations. Why did that one get the hit over other
So
ones when like we were, I don't know, like, is it like the foreign overhead on that? Is it like maybe they just didn't like what they were trying to do next? I don't know.
I'm thinking maybe could it have to do with like the overall budget with like the Bethesda like branch of things? Like, is that probably why they consolidated these smaller studios and maybe less successful ones? Because I forget that they're all kind of wrapped up in that banner, right?
Yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
because all the hits did get taken on the Bethesda side.
Right. Like maybe there's budget there that they maybe have to pull towards Bethesda main or something like that. Maybe a Doom or maybe an Elder Scrolls or something like that.
And also, again, think of it this way: you go ahead and, again, the unfortunate thing, you pull in a massive cash cow that is Activision Blizzard with Call of Duty, and also, again, WoW. Think of what,
And
how do you
King.
revitalize a game like
Yeah.
WoW? You know, a game that was the king
Slap
of
that shit on
MMOs but
console.
has lost it. Where has it not been yet? Consoles.
Xbox Game Pass.
N-Gage.
Put it on the N-Gage. But no, seriously, like genuinely, for like 20 some odd years almost now, however long this fucking game has been in existence.
Yeah.
It has not been on consoles officially. You are now in the space where officially a console manufacturer owns you and can be like, now you're just on this platform. Like WoW stopped publishing their subscription numbers years ago because 14 was fucking pissing on them, to the point where, again, 14 was so successful they had to beg people to stop giving them money because, no, please, we literally don't have the server space for all the money you're giving us. And again, how else at that point do you revitalize the fan base? From what I've talked to a buddy at work that plays WoW religiously still, the something of expedition, or the fuck they're calling it, where they're basically taking like original WoW but throwing like a new flavor on it and redoing the entire way the game plays.
They're doing like
a
multi-classing pretty much.
Yeah,
Like you can do like a healer tank and shit like that.
Yeah, he's like, that's been a fun way to kind of drum up interest in it all over again. And but like, truly, how else are you like surefired, guaranteed gonna inject an interest of potentially millions of people back into that game? Give it to a whole demographic of people that haven't had a chance to play it. How do you do that? You fucking bring it to a console. So I guarantee you there's people behind the scenes that they've roped into doing a port of that.
They've been interviewed a few times, and every time they've gotten asked a few times, and every time it's kind of like a coy, like, oh, we've been looking into that. So I mean, that has to be on your radar, I would imagine.
So
I feel like that would have to been like contingent, be like, hey guys, we're gonna come by you, we'll pay you this much, but we gotta get this shit fucking done.
Oh no, 100%. That's the other thing, is we don't know like all of the like strings that were attached to some of these deals.
Yeah.
And that has to honestly be part of it, is we need this up and running on other platforms. Because again, I mean, until today, Microsoft had like what, 27 some odd fucking studios under their belt.
I think they have like 60 or something. Like they have
so even far more than I'm giving them credit for. And there's a lot of them that I'm sure are 100% just supplementary studios, where they purely exist just to help work on other things.
So.
Okay, no, that's 23. Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
We also.
I wonder if that's the updated number.
On top of all this, we're hearing people that are well within insiders saying it's still not over. We still have a lot of layoffs coming.
Cool.
Oh no, it's still there. All those companies are still listed on the Xbox.com site.
It's that day.
Yep. So that means Bethesda still has Game Studios proper, ZeniMax Online, ID, Arcane Lion. Is that what it's called? Machine
Leon.
Games. Yeah, Leon. And Roundhouse. Was that one of them that's still there? Or no, Roundhouse got
Roundhouse. They have the 4.
Yeah.
So shit. So that means we have Machine Games, which is what, Wolfenstein.
Yep.
And who did the Deathloop? Was that Arcane Lion?
Arcane Lion, yeah.
Okay, and then ID is pretty much the Doom and Rage studio right now. ZeniMax is Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, so that's pretty. They just weeded it down to the bread and butter. It's just gonna be Doom, Elder Scrolls, and fucking
But like,
Wolfenstein for
just
here
stop and
on
think about
out.
how wild that is. Like, getting
Yeah,
Game of the Year is not enough to ensure you still have a job at the end of the day.
yeah, that is 100% insane. Yeah, I completely agree.
Um,
And on top of that, it was like a surprise. Wasn't that one of the day and date games that they just dropped?
that was Shadow
When
Drop.
they announced it. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Shadow Drop,
Shadow Drop. Everyone loved it.
yeah,
Um, I don't know. I bought it on Steam. I tried to support that because I saw that was so small. It's a bummer. It's not lasting on there. Everyone said there's more being laid off. Yeah, there's been rumblings that whole industry is getting fucked this year on layoffs. Like this is the year where everyone that bloated because the industry was doing so well last couple years is getting
Yeah.
consolidated mega. Um, which is
This is the unfortunate fallout from all the free tendies from COVID.
yeah.
yep.
So
Bubbles deflating.
Because no, again, board members short-sighted just see people are buying games left and right. That's gonna obviously last forever. Go chase that.
same thing with movies. That's why the movies are getting fucked as well. Everyone doubled,
Yeah.
tripled down on entertainment, not realizing that once COVID ends, people are gonna go back outside and stop doing that stuff.
Not to mention our economy so fucking inflated that groceries are fucking $30 for a single dinner to make at home. So
Yeah, I remember back when it was like, yeah, you just stop eating out so much. You're gonna save money. It's like, well, depends on what you mean by that. Do you mean like just have some like sandwiches for the week? Because then yeah, sure, I'll save money.
Right.
But if you're
Right.
saying
That's
cook,
the only example that you have.
yeah,
yeah,
but if you're
these
telling me
damn
to cook every
millennials
day,
and their avocado toast.
Yeah, no shit. Making a sandwich on white bread's gonna save you money, but
right? But
eating
like legit,
actual food.
go to McDonald's, get a McDouble and fries for like $3.50. Which ironically, I've learned that the McDouble is actually really healthy, like all things considered.
I seen that. I think I seen the same thing you did.
Yeah, which is so ironic because my ass lived on McDoubles for a solid year during my last year of my master's program. I'd come home, it'd be like 9 or 10 o'clock. I'm driving home. I'm like, I'm hungry, and I don't want money, so I would just roll up to the McDonald's, get myself a McDouble and a large fry for $3.50, and I go home and I'm like, I eat. I'm like, man, I'm eating like shit. But reading that article like validated me so much. I'm like, all right, cool. It wasn't actually that bad. I was doing all right for myself. Um, this whole thing is unfortunate. So shout outs to everyone out there. I hope you guys bounce back. I hope this is the end of it. I don't know what to think with a lot of this stuff. Like I'm not trying to make excuses. I swear, I'm just trying to figure out how much of this is just like fallout from stuff versus like Phil Spencer led decisions, right?
Yeah, right.
Everyone wants to shit on Phil Spencer, which I understand wholeheartedly at this point now, right? But like the acquisitions and everything, like that has to be something more to all that stuff. But I don't know. That's way beyond me.
I mean, I feel like this is again the problem when you have such a behemoth of a hydra like Microsoft, because at the end of the day, they're not just a console company; they are literally the progenitor of the biggest, most anti-competitor operating system on the fucking markets. They are your computer, they are your office suites, they are all of the fucking
They're your
things
browser
and
for some.
productivity you use. They're your browser if you're an absolute cuck.
Hey, I got my
they are
Microsoft points,
literally-
bro. Don't worry about it. I get free games using this.
Oh yeah, I forget about that all the time.
Yep.
I need to do my check-in.
People don't buy games on Microsoft. That's a myth.
I guess that is,
There's no buying games on Microsoft.
True.
But no, like unironically, they are such a multi-headed behemoth that it's hard to apply like a Nintendo level of logic to Microsoft, because they're not just we're a console company and a game company. There's so many divisions where I still think that Phil Spencer deserves any hate directed to him, because it's hard to feel sad for anyone making an executive level salary. Fuck off. no one makes an executive level salary and is a good human being. Just full stop.
Yeah, for sure. This isn't a non-profit, my man. We know why you're here. We know what you're getting paid for.
So
like,
yeah,
let's cut the
no,
bullshit.
no sympathy for you. Fuck out of here.
No.
I've told VPs to their faces they can get fucked before at companies I've worked at. There's a reason I don't work at those companies anymore. It's one of those things that at the end of the day, I'm sure this plays into corporate Microsoft's grand agenda because they're not just board of directors for Xbox, they're board of directors for Microsoft. So we've talked about this a lot before, how Microsoft's Xbox division is basically the red-headed stepchild of the organization. Yes, Game Pass has turned things around quite a bit and changed the perception of it, but again, it changed its perception into being that the Xbox doesn't matter, the subscription matters. And so if all these companies aren't going ahead and creating things that are constantly causing engagement in Game Pass, do they matter? And that might honestly be a part of it, because a lot of these studios basically made games where you play them once and you're done. Again, there's none of that microtransaction engagement. There's none of that like waves upon waves of DLC where we're gonna give you the base game, but psych, you still got to pay for the DLC. Like, look at any Fallout game, or look at pretty much every Skyrim, or every Skyrim, goddamn, every Elder Scrolls game that's on Game Pass. Right. It's the base games. You still have to go buy the DLCs for those.
You don't understand, dude. You get the discount with the Game Pass subscription, man. It's a good deal.
Truly, the only DLC they've given away, ironically, is the answer for Persona fans, which,
right,
all right, that's kind of fucking base, not gonna lie.
But... yeah, that's insane, because I feel like that's one that they could charge full price for without the discount. People just still eat it up anyways.
I mean, if you're a PlayStation fan, you're paying $50 or $30 for that DLC.
Exactly.
Which is why when I do eventually buy that game physically, I'm gonna just bite the bullet and get it on fucking Xbox, because I'll at least have it physical for Xbox if once it disappears from Game Pass. But fuck it, I still have the DLC for free, so
I'm crossing my fingers that somehow they miraculously slap it into a Switch cart so I can just have that collection on my Switch. Royal made it onto one, so
you know, maybe one day
I think it'll happen.
Will wake up and they'll be like, you know what? We've already ported all of our games to Switch, which they've ported a lot of the SMT games to Switch, honestly. Yeah. Just only in Japan. Maybe one day they'll wake up and be like, where's that script from the iOS ports we did a while back? Someone just copy and paste that shit and fucking throw it on the US shop. Maybe that could happen one day. Maybe one day I'll be able to go ahead and never have to touch my SNES copies of my Shin Megami Tensei library, and it'll just be a matter of playing them on Switch. But although, again, shoutouts to Gmode for being such a based fucking company who's like, no, fuck Lost Media. Here's all your old Java phone games, including what everyone thought was lost media of a lot of the SMT ones. Fuck it, here you go. And the fan community immediately be like, no, let's give you fan translations so you can play all this shit right away. Fucking based. But I just wish they weren't $15 a pop, because that is still a hard pill to swallow for mobile phone games from the early 2000s.
I forget about those all the time, because I remember that like little shop that you'd get in like your flip phone or whatever, and it'd have like just a random ass games. That's random though that they had a SMT one.
There's a bunch of them actually. There's 3 for Last Bible. There was like honestly like 10 some odd ones for Persona 3 and Persona 4. A lot of the Persona 4 ones and Persona 3 ones are on there now. Actually, they just put out episode Aegis, which is like a side quill to Persona 3. That was on mobile phones only. Fucking SMT popped off hard on mobile. I don't know why, but So yeah, shout out to Gmode, who's basically been committed to bringing all of their licensed games to fucking Steam. And shout out to the fan translators who have been working fucking overtime on getting all those translated. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention this a while back, but the Persona 2 part of the duology does have a fan translation for the one that was not brought over to America. So officially, when it does eventually come time for Games Gone By, and we're talking about the Persona 3 trilogy, the original, all of them are fully translated and playable for the PSP. Those are the ones to play.
Oh, yeah.
Which is all that to say, as Adrian is busy in some other drama right now. Let's talk about some fucking drama. We've talked a lot about diss tracks. You know what diss tracks tend to come on is burn CDs. You know what else apparently comes out on fucking burn CDs? Can you guess, Kells, what comes out on burn CDs?
No, but I think it's something I seen you getting very pissed off about earlier.
Oh, it's definitely something that's gotten me fucking rustled. All right. You know, let me go grab it. In fact.
Oh no, I seen that happening. I knew I was gonna figure out what it was later.
All right. Well, I saw him walk away, and I figured out.
You know what else comes on fucking burn CDRs?
All right, Ray's back in. All right.
You know what else comes? I don't give a fuck what you're saying, Adrian. I'm doing shit here right now. I'm in the middle of a bit. I don't know the fuck. What do you even say?
He didn't even say anything. He like put his headphones on and then just
good. Fuck him. So yeah, you know what comes on burn CDRs? Fucking D. By Limited Run Games comes on fucking burn CDRs. Which is wild.
So did they give like a rationale behind it or anything? Because I'm not too in depth on it.
Oh yeah. Buckle your ass up. They gave a fucking logic for this.
Okay.
So shout out to Todd Retrofrog for breaking this. There is a long rabbit hole I'm about to go down here. But TLDR, for those not in the know, Limited Run Games did D. There's a problem. Not the soundtrack. The soundtrack is actually factory pressed. But the game itself for D is made on a CDR. And Todd was like, oh, wait a second. That's wrong. And a lot of other people that have suddenly received their copies are like, hey, my game's not working on my fucking 3DO. Why is that? Here's the thing. The 3DO has no copy protection. Yeah. It doesn't. But it's a 20, almost 30-year-old console. Lasers die. In some models of the 3DO, because there was no standard 3DO model, that was the whole point of the 3DO, is kind of like the VHS player. There was a conglomerate of 5 companies that all agreed that this is the 3DO standard, but then everyone got to make their own iteration of the 3DO. Some 3DO models work better than others. Where's my 3DO? I think it's hiding in the closet in shame. Yeah, my 3DO is hiding in the closet in shame right now. It's not on my server rack. But some models, like mine, actually don't run well with CDRs. And everyone's like, what the fuck? You went ahead and you are literally selling us burn CDRs. I could go to Walmart and make my own copy of D, thank you. Right. I didn't need you.
Someone said, were you hiring? And they had a case of 50 blank CDs to them. That was fun.
Yeah, no, the retro community has been popping off about this, which I fucking adore.
That's so low effort.
Can I like that? It is low effort. Can I interject super quick? It buzzed me out that I wanted to support Hi-Fi Rush once more, and to do it, I have to do Limited Run.
Right.
I would honestly just buy secondhand as much as there would probably be.
I'm not paying more. I'm not paying a scalper.
Fair.
I'm kind of SOL on that. I gotta support one demon to help a little bit. But I guess I'm not supporting anything at that point. I'm supporting a dead studio, but we'll see. Anyway, sorry to interrupt.
No, that's fine, because I understand that sentiment, because there's a couple announced, like Tomb Raider confirmed that they're doing, I think this is the first time that the Lara Croft, like Osiris mini game that was originally like on PSN and stuff back in the day.
Was that the top down
is getting
one?
A physical release. Yeah, the top-down ones. Those are all getting a physical release, but it's through limited runs. So I was like, oh, fuck off, I guess. And there's been a couple other ones announced where I'm like, fuck. Oh yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon. That was another one. I'm like, hell yeah, fuck. Which I got a refund for, and we'll go into that in a little bit as well here. But yeah, so they went ahead and had the audacity to charge $70 for a fucking CDR.
I forgot you bought that too.
Yeah, I bought that.
No.
So they had the audacity to do that, and they did come out with a response after everyone in the retro community.
The Heart Part 7
on these fucking clowns.
Yeah.
So the TLDR of why
good night,
they
pepperoni.
decided to go. Have a good night, homie. The reason they decided to do it, this is their reason, is they were working with the manufacturer, and you know these old consoles, they just. They're hard to work for. You know, it's really hard to get things working for old consoles. And so when they originally pressed the disc, none of them just seemed to work. But then someone there remembered that technically the 3D doesn't have copy protection. So they went ahead and tried a CDR, and it worked for the couple consoles they had on hand. So they're like, fuck it, do that.
So why do it if you didn't test it?
Well, no, they tested it on like 3 consoles.
No. But the initial thing, like, it's so hard, then you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, very good question. But it's led to a lot of funny shit. And there's a reason why I said it. It's opened up a weird Pandora's box of shit. So yeah, they got called out in their bullshit. And now their stance is, no, we promise now we're going to find someone that can actually press these discs. To which everyone's like, why didn't you fucking do that to begin with? And there's no response on that, of course. There is no answer why they just didn't do that to begin with. Shout outs to Remu, an indie musician that I adore, who does music albums with original console hardware. And whenever he releases an album, he releases it on the same media that the console originally used. I actually have one of his albums on the PC Engine, so I have a good old cue card. That's one of his albums. Shout out to him who fucking dunked on limited runs. Like, I was able to get my newest album coming up for the 3DO printed on 3DO compatible discs just fine. I don't know what your problem were. If you guys need help finding a company to do this, let me know. I'll hook you up. But that led into a further interesting rabbit hole. We're an indie company that I meant to talk about them on the podcast, but I didn't, just because like it was my own personal slap fight. But to rewind a little bit, so there's a long period during the winter where I don't have a place to charge my car at home, because I don't have yard, I don't have land. I literally own a tree, and that is the extent of my property line, is I own a tree.
That's more than Kells has now.
Hell yeah.
For real, I lost my tree, dude.
Oh, no. That's fine. Mine is tangled in the power line and is a hazard. But the power company refuses to do anything about it until it becomes a hazard further. Basically, they're like, oh, you still have power? It's fine. Okay. Fine, I'll wait until it takes the power line out, and then it's your fucking problem.
Yeah, fuck me, right?
Yeah. But during that time, I had to go to other places to, like, charge, and it takes fucking, I say forever. It's like 20, 30 minutes to charge at a tier 3 charger. But, you know, I'd sit there and wait for the car to charge, and so I'm on a 3DO Discord, because I have a 3DO disc emulator, and, you know, a lot of people were talking in there. And there was an indie guy who was like, oh, I'm making a 3DO game. It's going to be great. Motherfucker was using AI art for his game. Me being me, I'm like, nah, I'm not going to let this fucking slide. I'm going to get in a slap fight with this dude. So myself and a few other people got into a slap fight with the developer. And this went on for about a month. And ultimately what it boiled down to is like, fine. Before I make an official release of this game, I will pay an actual artist to redo the art for this game. You know, bring forth an artist to go ahead and do it, and I'll pay them. And I was like, no, I'm not wasting any of my fucking artist friends that I know on this because they would be insulted that you touched AI to begin with. I'm not wasting anyone's time like that. Fuck off. You should have done the right thing to begin with. If you're making an indie project and it's you learning how to make a game and you're not charging anything, I still don't agree with AI, but fuck it. That's a great time to go ahead and use AI. Is literally, I just need to stand in while I learn how all this works. If you're starting to sell a fucking product, no, fuck you. You pay a goddamn artist. This guy also initially tried to dunk on Limited Run because, like, hey, I went ahead and I released pressed games for the 3DO just fine. Not people went back and checked, and he was selling CDRs as well.
Why would you even jump that in with like knowing your? I just stay
so
quiet.
This guy tried to dunk on fucking Limited Run, saying, "No, I got pressed discs," and the community's like, "All right, bet," and confirmed this guy was using CDRs as well.
Apparently,
and on top of that,
go ahead.
No, good.
You're good. I was gonna say the plumbers don't wear ties is a DVD-R thing.
Well, they're saying that's on hold until they have this all sorted out. So my guess is that they were trying to start printing that out in the CDRs, and then all this backlash has bullied them into stopping with that idea.
Yep.
But people have gone back and dug up more information about Limited Run's information, and basically, if you own the collector's edition for Secret of Monkey Island, I feel sorry for you. Because apparently, in the collector's edition for that, one of the discs straight up just didn't work. And when they sent out replacement discs, they were on CDRs. Also, apparently any game that was physically created from them, that was for like the NES, SNES,
Flash,
or Game Boy, they're on Flash Media as opposed to EEPROMs. Which, the big difference there, if you're not familiar, is if you don't consistently use Flash Media, it just fucking dies.
Yep.
So if you're not going back and replaying those games at least, every few months to once a year, good luck. That game just may not work at some point.
Yeah.
So all the speculative motherfuckers that are like, no, I'm keeping it sealed, it don't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter for you. You're gonna just flip it and sell it anyways.
Well, it's a bummer because I always want to like visit the store and stuff too. Right, the store looked so cool, but I've fallen out of Limited Run for sure. Like I've had to throw in a couple times just because like there's some games, but like severely, right? We used to use it a lot.
Yeah, I used it quite a bit, and the last bit of this drama was me getting a refund for some shit.
What'd you get a refund on?
So I still had 3 active open pre-orders. One that I just put down for, which was the Roller Coaster Tycoon.
I think I put down for that too, but
also I had put down for the Night Trap GBA game.
Oh yeah, I get out of that one for sure.
And the Plumbers Don't Wear Ties one. I had thrown down for that just recently as well. But I sent an email, and here's my email. Greetings. Your company has killed all trust I have had in it. As you can see from my purchase history, I am a longtime buyer of Limited Run games, and still have active pre-orders with your company. However, after receiving my copy of D and finding out it's not going to work with my 3DO because of it being a CDR, this is mind-boggling to me. Your Clown Shoes organization has the audacity to charge $70 for a CDR of a video game while shipping in the same container a pressed version of the soundtrack. What is actually wrong with your company? I would like to cancel my remaining pre-orders for Night Trap GBA, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, and Roller Coaster Tycoon 3, as I cannot trust your company to release quality, functioning products anymore and want my money back. To which I initially get a response. Greetings, David. Hope this email finds you well.
Fine.
Get fucked. Love Limited Run. No. We do apologize for any frustration. All right, you're starting with the template. I worked customer service. I know these templates well. The only game currently experiencing issues is D, the collector's edition for 3DO, which the community has confirmed that is a lie. No further physical 3DO games will be produced by Limited Run Games until this issue is fully resolved. and we are able to ship pressed discs, ensuring full compatibility with the original hardware. Again, why did you guys do that the first fucking place?
Yeah, and see, like, that excuse is such bullshit to me. They're like, until we figure out what's wrong. Bitch, we know what the fuck's wrong. It's not on the right stuff.
However, if you still insist on processing a cancellation for your pending orders, we'd be happy to help with that.
Are you happy?
And there was some more back.
We'll do it. We're not happy about it. We'll do it.
Yeah.
So there was some more polite back and forth at that point. Because I'm not going to be an asshole to the customer service person.
Yeah,
they weren't the ones making the decision. But again, this templated response, not even acknowledging the fact that you've lost your trust with this company, you want a refund for anything, just the immediate template answer of only one product had an issue, bro, it's fine. Which again, that's a lie. Multiple products have been caught out with shit. But also the audacity to be like, no, we're gonna make it right the way we should have done it the first time. So please don't cancel your refunds. So I wish I was a fly in the wall for customer support for limited run games, because truly I am curious the numbers that exist. And I canceled some Amazon pre-orders I had with them because King of Fighters 13, Cave of, fuck, the name's escaping me, and like one other game had pre-orders on Amazon as well, and I canceled all my pre-orders there too. As unfortunate as it would be to, as much as I want those other titles and releases, again, I'm done at this point.
It sucks because it's such a double-edged sword with them, right? Like we want, like Hi-Fi Rush, we're just saying, right? The limited run's the only way you're gonna have that forever.
The Persona 3 Portable and fucking Persona 4 Golden.
Yep.
Yep. So
like that, it's fucking wild to me that that's the only way we have those physical. Literally some of the highest grossing games for fucking Atlas, and the only way they got a modern physical release is through limited run.
Yeah, and what's the dude that's working with them now? That's doing like the porting of like the retro games and shit. Because they're about to do Toomba, and that's a big one for me. Because it's a PS1.
Yeah, because it's under like Night Dive Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're doing Toomba, and unfortunately, they still they have a lot of other bangers. There's still the Clock Tower SNES remaster.
Sorry, David, not happening.
That man, that one that is the most torn I am right now, is the Clock Tower remaster. That one fucking hurts. But there's a bunch of other ones that are escaping my mind right now. Where Rondo of Blood. That was the other one. Castlevania Rondo of Blood. The other one that they're like, yeah, no, this is gonna come for the 3DO, guys. Where I'm like, I mean, I especially now don't trust you to fucking do it for 3DO, but still, those are two retro bangers for me that really fucking hurt to pass up on. Like Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. That's for the me. That's for the fact that if I were to go try to find a physical copy of that today, that's like $300-400 to get that right now.
Right.
I'm talking about if I want it on the 3DO.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that regardless.
But it's the fact that like how fucking wild that's fucking ridiculous to me.
I will say, and I mentioned this because I like to be forward with everyone. Because someone was talking shit on their customer service, how something happened. Where I did say, well, like the only time I've ever had to deal with a customer service, it was solid. It was that time where a bug tail came crushed like to oblivion. I sent a picture with them.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I sent a picture to them, and they said keep it, and we'll send you a new one. So I was like, so that was super solid. I was ready to send it back, but they're like, nope, just don't even worry about it, just keep it. So it's cool. So now I can I actually was able to display a lot of the collector's edition stuff. I think I even sent Gore the cutout parts of it during one of the Gore boxes. I sent the cutouts of that, and I kept the plush somewhere around here. So that was cool. But I know, like, was it like Strictly Limited or something like that? One of the other ones is super also fucking dodgy. There's a few of them that are solid, but it just sucks because Limited Run has such a stranglehold on all the big names.
Yes, any major game coming out is coming out through Limited Run.
I'm hoping this stumps a little bit of momentum and like spreads it out a little bit. It just, the quality of it is just, it's unfortunate, but also like I prefer the directory of where they were at now, where it's like, all right, open pre-orders is better. None of this. Like, remember having to go back and like refresh the morning of and hoping that you got a copy. That
and
was
then
bullshit.
There's so many games just gone because like, it's only 2,000. We don't know what the demands are.
Which it always exceeds. So it's like it's a better trajectory, but like I think this is the cancer right now. I think the way that they're doing it is just it's so cancerous. If they take a hit for it and others get like a little bit raised for it, solid. I say that's the way for it to go. Like give some of the other games because we've supported other ones. I'm sorry if I'm saying Strictly Limited is the other tough one.
I think Strictly Limited is one of the ones that's kind of sketchy.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. I hope it's the right one because there's 50,000 of them now.
Yeah, super rare.
Super rare.
Super rare game is one of the legit ones because they do the mixtapes.
There you go.
Mixtapes are really cool.
Yeah. I wish I kept up with those.
Actually, I have quite a few from them too because they do a lot of British game releases too, which is really nice to see. Also, I got a pee.
I think Super Rare, they're the ones that did the Demon Trigger physical only or whatever it was as well. I could be wrong.
Yeah, where it was. Yeah. That sounds familiar. Do you buy stuff from Limited Run?
Yeah, I buy from them quite often. I actually have an order out right now for Midnight Fight Express for Switch.
Okay.
And I definitely plan on getting Toomba. And I don't buy from them a lot. I'm not like a collector that needs to have like every numbered whatever.
Yeah, no, fuck that. It was at some point that became unrealistic.
Yeah, that's not realistic at all. But for me, I mostly collect or get games on my Switch. So it's like if a game resonates with me or if there's one I'm really interested in getting physical, I'm getting it on the Switch. And so pretty much the way to do that's going to be through Limited Run.
It's really fun collecting for Switch, and they're not
Yeah.
egregiously priced, which is nice.
For sure.
Shipping kind of fucking sucks, but like $40, I can stomach for that.
Right. Exactly.
Go ahead.
And I was like, I don't know. It's the portable console. It's supposedly going to be backwards compatible.
It better be. It'd be a dumb move to not be.
Yeah. So that makes me wonder. So I feel going back to the Switch 2 talk. I feel like I wonder what that's going to be like. Is it just going to be like a bigger cartridge or something? Or are we going to enable like a bigger, like more memory on the cartridge? Like, how's that going to work? And is it just going to be a separate slot for the Switch 1 cards? Like, I don't know.
I'm hoping it's like the 3DS and DS.
Yeah, for sure. No, but I'm hinging my bets. I'm all the retro games they're getting reprinted, getting them on Switch. Hope it's backwards compat.
It'd be such a bad move if it wasn't, honestly, especially because like how much it's still selling currently.
For sure.
Best thing you could do is just.
Fuck, we forgot to ask the audience if my audio's still better. If anyone's still in the chat, does my audio actually sound any that?
We're not lying to you. I don't know why you just don't believe it.
I don't think you're lying to me. I just think it's weird. Because literally, I don't notice any difference between the two on my own OBS recording.
If it doesn't.
Yeah, call him an idiot. Dude, you're not an audio person. You're a very visual person, like in general. You can count pixels all day. You've not done a single thing in terms of audio. I'm telling you why you don't see a difference in your audio. Because you don't see with your hearing, idiot. But also, it's because you're just so used to like audio. You have a very, very high tolerance for shit audio.
I'm willing to say that's a fair assessment.
You play goddamn retro games, David.
Hey, a lot of those games have banger fucking soundtracks.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
They just sound like shit.
Audacity of this man. The audacity.
You sound so much better. I don't know why you just. I do know why. I just explain why, but
I just wish I could hear the difference myself. Like I would be more apt to be like, oh yeah, no, it was.
Can you? How about this? Literally, turn it up. Go to the podcast right now. Like mute us. Go to the podcast, last podcast, and go now. Listen to yourself speak, and crank it up. Turn that shit up.
I do sound a little cleaner on the podcast.
Oh my god! Yeah, thank you.
But here's the thing: I don't get. Maybe it's just how I have my OBS configured then, because going from my old mic to my new mic on OBS on my own recordings, I don't notice a difference.
What do you mean your OBS? Like, what do you mean recordings? What are you doing?
So I am going ahead and literally, when I tested this with my old mic and my new mic, I went ahead and just basically recorded like a minute of me just narrating shit in OBS, and then I went back and I played the sound file.
You're not listening for what we're listening to, though, I think. Like, let me go to your YouTube channel real quick.
He's nuts.
Got him.
Fucking got him.
Are you the second Durana Joy U on YouTube? Because I looked yours up and you did not come up first.
I'm the only one.
There's a Durana Joy U 7807 with 1 subscriber, and all they played is EDZ 6 years ago.
Fuck, there's also apparently an STS. Well, I mean STS Toronto, but that's fucking weird.
Oh, you might be on my
Someone
page.
stole my gimmick. Gimmick infringement. God damn it.
You were
I don't even come up in the fucking top 6. What the fuck?
That's why I told you that when you make a
I
new...
have more subscribers than all these fuckers.
I told you, algorithm, dude. If you ever make content, you gotta start fresh. The algorithm just...
The fucking audacity.
It's a good program.
These people don't even have new content. Their content's from 6 years ago.
Damn, you should write diss tracks about them. Yeah, no, algorithm, you're fucked, dude. Unfortunate.
Rogue Legacy was another one from Limited Run I was wanting to cop too. I think that one just opened.
Oh, yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah.
God damn it.
I still might grab Hi-Fi Rush, but it's just unfortunate.
Yeah. I feel like.
Oh, that's interesting. If you search for my old handle, it pops up my new channel name.
Yeah, I hate that.
That's funny. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna grab Hi-Fi Rush. Just do the whole music thing. I see that being a possibility to where it's like a hard to get game.
Right. Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, David. It sounds better.
I mean, I'm glad that it does. It's just I don't understand.
It's the quality of the mic. The Blue Yetis are not that great.
Yeah, but again, I don't understand what if it sounds the same to me with my own OBS recording, but I do notice a difference on yours. That then becomes the question of what I need to do differently in OBS to make my audio sound better. Because that means that there's something that I'm fucking up then at that point.
I'm gonna ask you this with the context of how you sound better to us now. You should go in and re-record and see if maybe it was a placebo. Because I know how stubborn you were to buy this mic. Maybe you were really just like, it doesn't sound better. This is fucking dumb. This is dumb. This?
I just re-listened to the same audio.
The one that you recorded?
Yeah.
Can you go through and do it like on Audacity?
Download Audacity again, but yeah, I can do that.
The Audacity.
The Audacity.
Anyway.
I did that a while ago because that's Russian software.
Hell yeah. It's free.
I mean, granted, it is open source, but still.
All right. Is there anything else we need to discuss on here?
I feel like there was like one other story.
Remedy canceled their online game that they were making.
No, was it the Control multiplayer game?
I don't think it was. It was Project Kestrel.
Okay, because I was really looking forward to the multiplayer Control game. I feel like that'd be a fun one to play.
Let me see, actually. Remedy game.
While you're looking that up, speaking of multiplayer, Sony got fucking ass blasted by their audience.
Oh, right. That was the big one.
Yeah, so Sony in their infinite wisdom, and any fucking bootlicker that was fucking apologizing for Sony on this, get fucked.
Yeah.
In small text at the bottom of the Steam store page, there was a mention how eventually Helldivers 2 was gonna require having a PSN account. however, if you bought it from any other legitimate third-party storefront, didn't have that listed anywhere there, as well as in the bold text of the game, in the immediate description of it, and in any of the other immediately what the average person is going to read through that isn't fine print, nowhere did it say that a PSN account was going to be required. Sony is like, no, we're going to make that mandatory now. Keeping in mind that Sony was selling the game in regions where they don't allow PSN accounts to be made.
Yeah,
which the bootlickers are like, oh, but you can just make a region account, whatever. Sony
strictly
has
against
accounts.
TOS. That's it's because if you can go ask customer service right now, and they'll tell you that if you make it in a country that you do not reside in and that you're not of age in, they have the right to ban your account.
Yes,
it's just stupid. Like there's no workaround to it.
Straight up, like. Can it work for a while? Yeah, but for how long is the question mark?
Exactly.
How long
you're operating on their timeline. Exactly.
So, I feel really bad for the developers of Helldivers, who ultimately were the ones that were receiving
and
the brunt
it's such a
of it.
bummer. They were really taking it hard.
Yeah.
Like I understood both ends on that. Honestly, it just sucked. I think at that point, what Sony should have done if they were smart was, hey, just give them an incentive bonus if they sign if they sign another PSN account, free season pass or so. I don't know.
That's what so many people were saying in the comments. Like, bro, just like throw in like free skins and some other kind of weird shit and be like, hey, here's just a bonus for using a PSN. So many people would have done it just for the sake
of have a fucking Kratos fucking cape.
Dude,
or something.
They literally already do it for like Call of Duty and shit. It's like get it on Call of Duty to get this, or get it on the PlayStation to get this skin for Call of Duty exclusively.
Yeah.
Like just do it here. Do it for Helldivers. I mean,
well, they wanted to do it because they wanted to pad their numbers because it looks good.
So again, shout outs to the Chad that is Steam. For as much as Epic Games likes to be like, oh, the monopoly is Steam.
I mean, no. To be fair, yes,
I do agree. There should be more competition out there because the day that Lord Gaben fucking passes is gonna be an interesting day for fucking.
It's gonna be a
Steam
day in hell for PC games, honestly.
Just honestly, it's kind of where I'm at when it comes to the good Linus, the Linus that doesn't use the hard R. When he finally passes, what's gonna happen with Linux? But it's kind of one of those things that. Shout outs to Steam, who's like, oh, Sony pulled some dumb bullshit. We don't care how much playtime you have. Let us know you want a refund.
One of my students had a lot of playtime and refunded it, and then yesterday, he came back and was like, well, I guess I gotta buy it again.
Yeah, so many people that had 100+ hours be like, no, I got a refund, no problem.
Which is fair. If you literally can't play the game, then
yeah. So shout outs to the Chad of fucking Valve. For being like, nah, fuck Sony. That's dumb. Here you go. Take your money back. We don't give a shit.
Same thing with Ubisoft. Same thing with Ubisoft, where someone refunds like, or no, it was PlayStation, right? Someone refunded like a game they bought 9 years ago, and they gave them the full whole like MSRP price they played.
Yeah, people have done that for Ubisoft because they've started removing people with dead accounts, not using their accounts, removing their games from their Ubisoft accounts, which a lot of Ubisoft games on Steam, it's a license that then tethers into the Ubisoft store. So there's been a lot of people who have just lost access to their Ubisoft games and gotten a refund from Steam because, like, I fucking bought it, but I can't play it. And Valve's like, nah, fuck that. Here you go.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad I waited out too, because I was waiting, because I was going to refund mine too, because my PlayStation, I have a PSN account, but it's different emails, completely separated from everything, and I only use like PayPal to pay through it because of all like the PSN issues, and I didn't want to link it. I'm like, yeah, I'm not trying to link it between my other shit too.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, I'll just get it on PlayStation if I want to play it that badly. But luckily, I just waited it out, and what do you know? We ended up bullying Sony into being little bitches.
Once again, proving that bullying companies works. We did it with Sonic. We did it with Helldivers 2. Democracy wins. we need to go ahead and start bullying more companies like this. Straight up. I mean, hey, it's starting to work apparently for Limited Run. We bullied Limited Run so hard that they're now finding companies that can do what they couldn't do before. So remember, vote with your wallets. It fucking works. And also, fair pool to the people that have been going back and updating their reviews, because that game was getting lampooned to the point where it actually was in overall mixed and then recently mostly negative. Fair pools to the people that have gone back and updated and be like, hey, no, they reversed their decision. I'm willing to go ahead and make this a positive review again.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I just pulled up the graph as well while we were talking about it, and it's now changed to recent reviews mixed. So, I mean, it is on an upswing and a slight uptick here. So, like you said, that's commendable. People that went and lampooned it, trashed it, going back and swapping it, switching it, doing new reviews. That's great. That's cool.
Because, again, here's the thing. PC gamers, they're the first and foremost ones to be like, nah, fuck that. We're going to pirate something if it's too much of a hassle or if it's too disgusting.
Yep.
They want to pay for it. That's literally what Steam was predicated on. Is our Lord and Savior Gaben was like, piracy is not a fucking theft problem. It's a convenience problem.
Yep.
If you make your product convenient enough, people are going to fucking pay for it. And that is what fucking Steam continues to demonstrate. Is that you make your stuff readily accessible enough, people are going to want to pay for it regardless. And that's also what GOG is a big proponent of. And also why a lot of people are so confused. You know, we got God of War on fucking GOG, completely DRM free. So a lot of people are like, that's such a weird move for Sony. Right. But honestly, Kels, you hit the nail on the head. It's literally because fiscal year is just been refreshed in Japan, because Japan's fiscal year is April to March. So they're going to need, going into the new quarter, something to show investors. What better to show investors than this literal surprise hit game translating to board members that don't understand Steam? I mean, fucking PC games, other than the indie market in Japan, is still an anomaly to where it's only literally been the last 3 years we've seen companies fucking respecting the platform. So it's just kind of one of those hilarious things where how better to show it on our platform that we control. Fuck it, force everyone on a PSN. But it's fucking wild and just absolutely disgusting.
I'm just glad that they're bouncing back a little bit, because Helldivers is they were having so much fun with the community, right? Like playing around, doing this stuff, but it's Papa Sony, right? I do feel a little bad because what is it? Everyone's like, what the fuck? Why did Helldivers get the thing peeled back, but Stellar Blade didn't? And I was like, well, I don't know, that one people cared about more. But to be fair, it was the PC community, right? It's the PC community is fucking loud,
right,
when it comes to stuff. Whereas Stellar Blade only be on PS5 doesn't really say anything. They don't have a bone, right?
No, for sure.
Is that it?
I feel like that was the last big one.
Yeah.
I'm just double checking my shit to see if I've updated anything.
Also, no, yeah, Kelly checked. Kestrel is not that. Project Condor is the Control multiplayer game.
Gotcha. Sick. Okay.
So we're still good. I think that's it.
We talked about that. Yeah, I think that's the big things here.
Hell yeah. All right. Cool. I'm gonna hop off, stop talking, and play Hades probably, because now I'm all.
Yes, sir.
I'm in that mood now. All right. Anyone in the chat? Appreciate it. Go listen to Kendrick more.
And tell us how David's mic sounds.
Yeah, I've been doing that. All the kids have me sign their yearbooks because seniors last week or their last day is Monday. So they're like, all right, write something. And then for a few of them that I've been talking about, I just put PS, K-Dot clears. For you, dude. We were here.
capped off your year with this fucking epic beef.
Low key, I've tried to put myself in their shoes. How kind of wild is it? Like, you imagine being yourself in school and you're just chatting with your teacher about the rap beef of the century with them, that, like, your final days. I'm like, I feel like in my shoes, I'd be kind of hyped about myself. Like, remember we were talking about Kendrick versus Drake with our teacher? I was like, yeah, you know what? That's kind of cool. I think about it. That's fun. I did actually, just to go back one last time. If one of the freshman girls was talking about that, and they kind of pulled a ISO speed thing where they're like, I can't believe Drake dissed their whole family, was talking shit to everyone, like their son. I'm like, he wasn't talking shit about the son. Or he was. I was like, no, go back. He says this and that. I'm always explaining it, and she's like, no, I can't do this. You're reading too much into it. I'm like, I'm an English teacher, and one of the kids turns and says, he reads for fun. That's what he does.
Fucking nerd.
Yeah, I'm like,
He's a dork.
I'm like, this is what I do. I research things. This is why I was gonna tell my other ones. I'm like, this is why you critically think. So you get clowned on like Drake for misreading an entire track. This is why everyone's like, what am I gonna need? Why do I need to know what this is in this book? It's teaching you how to critically think, because you don't look like a clown or a Drake fan, whichever one you want to be called. All right, that's it. We're out. See you, stream.
See ya.